Well, good morning, everybody. Happy Friday to you. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Get to give the old pipes a little rest. No game last night, but I will be cranking those pipes up tonight real good, maybe for the last time ever out at Pechanga Arena, San Diego, as I will be hanging them up after this one, Benjamin, and for the San Diego Seals tonight. And excited for the game tonight. My family's coming. It's very special night. As this will be my last game doing PA for the Seals, and just wanted to thank them again for coming in yesterday and giving me an opportunity these last 6 years. It's been a lot of fun. My voice is going to thank me, though. It really will, because I really shred it during those games.
So I didn't see you yesterday. I went to Pechanga Arena to do a story for Channel 10 on the Seals. Following up, saw Patrick Merrill again. And they were doing the team picture with all the staff and everyone. They were putting chairs out onto the field. Yeah. And I figured, well, Woodsy should be here. He's part of the team. He should be in the team picture.
I've never done one of those before.
No.
Never been asked to. Probably wouldn't go.
Just like when you were in elementary school, remember picture day? And
I hated it.
I still had your individual pictures, and then you had to do the class picture with everybody else.
Yeah, I do remember picture day at school, but no, I mean, it's yes, I work for the team, but I'm not part of said. I've never done the picture with the the company and all that. But yeah, man, my throat my throat thanks me because after those games is like it's just like I drive home and I'm like, all right, maybe that wasn't super smart. I don't know how metal singers do it on a night. I don't know how Chino from Deftones does a tour. I'd be like, yeah, I'll do a tour. We'll do 4 dates with 3 weeks separating each date, because how he screams is obviously you train yourself, but I'm only doing it every month or so. Just let's go, make some noise. It is just bananas. But so that's tonight. I will be a crying mess, I'm sure, because that's who I am. I'm Woodsy, by the way. That's Paul Rindle. He's the executive producer of the program. Good morning, Paulie.
Hey, how are you?
Doing great. Ben Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor, joins us as well. Good morning to you, Benjamin.
Good morning. I've never had a vocal regimen. Some people in television do.
Yeah.
Some exercises,
Sure.
some training. They do a lot of tea or lemon and honey or whatever, not just when you're sick, but they do it on
every day,
on regular days.
Yeah.
And obviously singers, people like Adele and Celine Dion are famous for their vocal training regimens that they go through, but I've never really taken care of the pipes.
Yeah, I don't know how much exertion. You have to sit, you anchored the other day. You had to talk for a lot. That's a long day.
A lot of talking.
And you're a little bit gassed after it, and your throat's a little bit cashed after. I do a little vocal warm-up. We've played it on the air before. I do the lip roll arpeggio, I go and I go ma 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 ma. Ma, 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 and I do that. I start.
Come on, Ben, your turn.
I start it every time. I have this my system for going to a Seals game is I get in my car and I drive until what's the exit to go to PB off the 5s?
Garnett.
Yeah, is that the exit?
Yeah.
So I listen to loud pump up music till I get there. And the minute I hit that exit, which is usually backed up with 40 minutes of traffic, I start my vocal warm-ups. And then I get inside.
I go past Claremont, and then you get to Rosecrans, and you get off for the Pechanga Arena.
That's right. So I do my vocal warm-ups really until I get really close to Pechanga. Then I go back to loud music to get me fired up before I walk in the door. And then I go inside. Sometimes I eat, sometimes I don't. But what I will always grab is one bag of Lay's plain potato chips, because they have.
That seems like the worst choice.
It's the best choice.
Why?
It has a special coating on the chips that coats your throat.
A little oily coating.
Yeah, and it's not, don't get sour cream and onion. Don't get barbecue. It's got to be the plain yellow bag Lay's. It's got a little bit of oil in it. And you eat them and your throat is coated. So then I go
without the dust of the flavor.
Correct.
Okay,
so then I go get my it's like a throat coat essentially. And then I'm ready to go. I go in and I go over my script, and fix the spelling errors and stuff that are in there. And oftentimes they'll have last week's opponent, like, all right, make some noise against the Saskatchewan Rush. And I've had to be like, never mind, it's the Albany Firewolves because I didn't catch it. It's really, so I really have to go through it. So I do that. And then the game starts and it's nonstop action until it ends. And then usually you have to hold my pee-pee about halfway through the first, because I always have to go potty halfway through the first. And
you'll have to wait until halftime.
Yeah, I can't go anywhere. You'll see me rocket out of the penalty box at halftime and clench as I'm walking very fast to go number one. But yes, so Landshark says maybe a spoon of honey. Yeah, you can do that too. But honey is very sticky, and I don't want to bring a sticky little honey bear in my bag along with a sticky spoon. So I just
feel
stick
like
with
if
the
you could
Lay's.
Choose potato chips or a spoonful of honey.
I'm taking the chips.
Who's not going to choose potato chips in that scenario?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yes, I am the throat goat, Carlos. Thank you very much.
Paulie, save that.
Yeah, save that, Paulie. I am the throat goat. Anyway, no game last night. This Thursday night off bit is not making me very happy right now. Oh, and everyone else in my life. I must have gotten 7 texts from people yesterday going, this sucks. Like, what are we going to do? Like, what are we doing tonight without the Padres? Has this always been this way?
I don't know. I feel a certain sense of calmness when your team has the best record in the league. I know an off day, you can just sit there and go, I know we'll still have the best record in the league at the end of the night as well.
I go the opposite
no risk.
way.
Just let it enjoy it for 48 hours before there's another game.
I go the opposite way in that my team is so good. All I want to do is watch them. I just want to watch them play, and I want them to stay hot. And I feel like any little break in the action, I feel like they have to reset the whole thing. All right, let's get remotivated. Like I like a good long 18 games in a row before a day off. I mean, really, it's a part of my night. And then of course, doing the radio show. Well, yeah, you want a kick-ass game to come in and talk about. So look, if we were 3-15, I'd be like, thank God there's an off day. Thank God. But no, I want to come in and talk about this team every day. So, you had the night off last night. There's a little bit of relaxing to it. You can go to sleep a little bit earlier. I know I did. But what did you guys watch last night on the off night?
Had a couple of episodes of White Lotus.
Okay. What season?
I finished season 2.
So good.
It was really good. Really good.
Yeah.
So we'll start season 3, kind of get caught up, hopefully by the end of the weekend.
Good.
With everybody else. And then watched Hacks, came out on Thursday night. Fantastic.
Good.
Really good show. 3 episodes into the new season. And that's about it.
Benjamin?
Let's see. I got home.
I was following some baseball games.
We ate dinner pretty late, at like 8:30, and my son and I watched an old episode of Chopped while we ate dinner.
What did you have for dinner?
I had a bowl from Kebab Shop.
Big kebab shop. There.
Chicken, rice, romaine lettuce, and then a lot of the green sauce I like to put in there.
Okay.
And that's what we had for dinner last night.
And then you watched Chopped?
Just while we ate.
What is it? Is it a cooking show?
That's a cooking show, yeah, where they have
is
the
it
4.
Emeril Lagasse?
No. Ted Allen hosts, and you got four chefs, and they get each a basket. There's 3 rounds, and each basket has mystery ingredients that are really like weird, like tough to put together, like can of maraschino cherries and asparagus and salmon.
Yeah.
And
I think I could
honey.
I think I could make some magic with that combo.
Maybe.
I really do think
and sometimes they do, and sometimes it turns into a disaster, and whoever has the worst dish according to the judges gets chopped at the end of the round, and then the 3 judges move on to the main course, and then the 2 move on.
They die.
So
Yeah, they chop them in half.
They get chopped from the competition. On the chopping block.
Okay.
And then at the end, you're left with the one that wins the $10,000 prize.
Okay.
There's like probably 1,000 episodes of it over the last 15 years. And we always enjoy, we pick, before they even start, they introduce the chefs. And then sight unseen, we just have to we gamble and we pick one of the chefs. And then that's the one
guy
that we root for.
You go for.
And they think, okay, I'm going with this one.
How
today.
do you pick it? By sight?
They do a quick bio, like what kind of restaurant they own or work at, or what kind of some awards they've won. And I go, I'll go with her, or no, I'll go with this guy.
I bet you did. I bet you did.
I'd
like to see your picks.
You get a sense of the ones that are going to do well.
I bet you do. I've never seen Chopped. I don't watch cooking shows, but everyone in the chat is saying it's an incredible show. That does sound, as far as a cooking show, up my alley. Kind of trying to make something out of nothing, much like we do on this show for 4 hours a day, 5 days a week. We are handed a basket of garbage, and we have to figure out how can we make this palpable for all these people listening. So I actually feel like I would dominate on Radio Chopped. If it was a Chopped in the radio, all right, Woodsy, here's your topics. Go get it. I'll be like, all right, I'll do this. That's a fun bit, actually. But no, I feel like we do that every single day. I think I would get under the bright lights and be like, I'm murdering all of you guys today. Like, you guys are all dead. We've been doing this in San Diego. We do 20 hours a week of fresh content. So I think I got it.
All right. What's your basket is Cleveland Browns draft prospects. You've got the NBA first round playoff matchup between the Clippers and Nuggets, plus future MLB collective bargaining talks. Go. Here's your segment.
I rescind my statement, man. I rescind it. I did watch draft day yesterday afternoon, so I could talk about some Cleveland Browns football. You know, it was a risk not taking Bo Callahan. It was, but Bo Callahan, Bo Callahan's supposed to be the next big thing. That movie is fine. It's absolutely fine. I watched that yesterday.
I'm sure the director of the movie feels very good of your review. That movie is absolutely fine.
It's absolutely fine. And then Taylor went to spend the night with his Gaga last night, his grandmother, because he doesn't have school today because it's Good Friday. Happy Good Friday, everybody. It's just average Friday for us, but Good Friday for you guys. And so he went to
pretty good Friday.
It's pretty good Friday. Yeah, we have a pretty good show today, actually, really good show. But so he was gone. So I asked Buzz, what do you want to watch tonight? He goes, The Fugitive. And I said, okay, done.
Good call.
And so we put The Fugitive. I cover his eyes like when she's getting like killed at the beginning because it's pretty scary, actually. I cover his eyes for that. And then when they start to look for, Dr. Richard Kimball, he's all into it.
Now, I know that she was dying, but I mean, when she really throws her husband over the bus, Richard's trying to kill me,
and then scratches him and has the skin under her nails.
I mean, she really sends him up the river. I know accidentally, but man,
it was really it's a tough watch, man. You think like man, I hope I never get falsely. I told you, it's like one of my greatest fears getting falsely accused of something and having to go to prison.
I mean, Richard's probably going, the evidence looks really, really bad against me. I know I didn't do it, but I'm totally getting convicted on this one.
I'm taking the fall here. And, but yeah, there's a lot of holes in The Fugitive, to be honest with you. There's a lot of holes. He has no money, right? He sees his buddy it's on Lower Wacker in Chicago. His buddy pulls out of his tennis club and he meets him at the car and he's like, I need some money. Give me whatever you have. And he's like, oh yeah. And so he gives him a couple of bills, like at most. Well, then the next scene, he's renting an apartment. I'm like, what kind of apartment are you renting for like $30?
It was the bottom room of a drug dealer's house in a really poor neighborhood, and this was it was probably like $300 a month.
There's no way. It's Chicago. There's no way.
This was a while ago, and it was a bad neighborhood. Okay. Let's be honest.
So here's the other one. He goes to see the one guy that's in jail with the prosthetic.
Yeah.
Clive is his name.
Clive Drexel.
What ID does he use? Because he has to
He made a fake ID.
But he made a fake hospital ID. Did he make a fake license too?
It's possible.
So
that's a good point.
There's a lot of holes in it.
I think the only thing that bothers me is I think they could have done without the jumping off the dam scene.
I love the jumping off the dam.
You do?
Bo and I talked about it last night. Bo said, Dad, how does he?
I don't think there's any chance he survived that.
Bo said, how does he live? And I said, man, I'll tell you what. I said, the fact that he dives off into the flow of the water is probably what saved him. It kind of slowed the momentum of falling down. That's just my theory. And I said, Bo, he was faced with, so here's his options in that moment. They're about to cuff me and take me back to jail. I'm not getting a retrial here. I'm going to get cuffed and taken back to prison.
I get why he jumped. I just don't believe that he could have survived.
So the risk reward is if I die, I know I didn't do anything wrong. If I live, I'm still in the fight. And yeah, it was a cliff dive. And he dove into that heavy stream.
Yeah, that's true.
It was really smart.
That's true.
But I don't know how shallow that dam. It's 3
it's
feet.
a little
like
river
you're
down
dead.
there. I mean,
yeah.
I just don't think that. I just feel like it's really a very, very. Almost, I mean, they said there's no way that he survives that.
Jeff says he took the 300 that his buddy gave him. He used the code Woods on Underdog. He turned that drug den rent. He turned it into drug den rent money.
He's this very smart guy. He found other ways to probably pick up a few bucks here and there.
He was so smart. It's such a brilliant film. It's a brilliant film. Tommy Lee Jones is unbelievable. He's one of my favorite actors. And so, yeah, we actually had a really nice night watching that. Hannah passed out. Bo and I watched The Fugitive on a Thursday night. So, but I did miss our Padres.
That's okay. No game to talk about.
Yes,
but,
I am the throat goat.
We did put together what I think is going to be
a 1 seed.
That's a 1 seed for sure.
I think we put together what is going to be an enjoyable program for you this morning. We'll set the menu with some special guests. I'm looking forward to all of them this morning. I'll let you know what's coming up on the show. First, Kelly's got some traffic, and we will be off and running on a Friday. We've made it to the end of the week here, Tier 1's on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Well, listen, every throat goat needs to make sure that he is drinking the best possible water. And I know that I do that every single day because we have the Eco Water system in our home. And last night was one of those. I filled up my water bottle with this. I was so tired. I just filled it up with the sink water in my bathroom, which I've never done before. But you can do it with Eco Water. I do it for my kids all the time. It's the best water you can have. It is it's soft water, no more hard water in our home. It's much better for you. If you want an upgrade, Eco Water's alkaline filters, they take hydration to the next level. Again, we've got the unit in our home. Soft, purified water, total game changer. Skin feels great. Coffee tastes even better. We're cooking in it. Our kids are bathing in it. We know that we have the best water in our home. And clean water deserves clean air. At Eco Water SoCal, they have state-of-the-art air purification, removes 99.99% of pollutants. We've got pure water, fresh air, and a happy family, all thanks to Eco Water SoCal. So get your free in-home water test today by calling 760-350-3338 or visit ecowatersocal.com. Try the Soft Life and alkaline water for just $9.95 a month. Make sure to tell them Woodsy sent you. Not everything in life should be hard, especially your water. Keeping it soft since 1925.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Jamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
I mean, want to get to the big news from yesterday right away, Woods. The Rockies fired their hitting coach, Henley Mullins, so saving their season by bringing back old manager Clint Hurdle. I'm sure that'll make a huge difference for a team that is already 8.5 games out of fourth place after just 18 games.
That's tough, man.
In the season.
Tough year.
It is. When I think about how happy I am with the Padres start, part of that is always couched in how bummed must you be if you're a Colorado Rockies fan?
Well, at least you got the Broncos, honestly.
The draft, you're all in on the draft.
It.
I mean, baseball season's over.
Yeah, baseball season's over.
It's over.
Yeah.
It's over.
It was over before it started.
It was, but you knew you weren't going to be great, but you also didn't know that the other 4 teams in your division were going to be so good that you're going to be so buried in last place.
Yeah.
3 weeks into the season.
You knew. No, you knew.
Not 3 weeks into the season.
Oh,
you could have gotten off to an okay start and been hovering around 500 for a few days.
Like 3-4 days.
Maybe
2-2 was like hey, this is the best we're gonna get, with Colorado Rockies this year. Yeah, they got the Avalanche. They're good. They're fine. They got the Nuggets in the playoffs. Trust me. I don't even think they're sweating it a little bit. I mean, the hardcore Rocky fan is
spring football for Colorado Buffaloes.
Yeah, 100%, man. There's so much to do in Denver. Like there's so many other things to think about. They went into this season with no expectations, and but I promise you, they're excited about Dollander. They're excited about some of their young kids that they have. They're used to Chris Bryant being on the IL. He went back on the IL last week. Buddy Black. I mean, I don't know how you don't just literally just go through the motions just every day. Like, yep, I'm hitting off the tee, getting my grounders, going to go out and play the game. And That's it. I mean, I get my money and call it a day. Try to get the hell out of here when I'm done.
It wasn't that long ago that the Padres were the organization that randomly blamed their hitting coach for all the failures and fired him.
Yep.
As though it is going to make any difference whatsoever. I'm sure Henley Mullins is thinking, I'm the problem. I'm the problem here. Yep. Yeah, that's of course I'm the big problem here in Colorado. Good luck, guys. Enjoy the season. Hopefully he had a guaranteed contract for the year and still gets paid out because that's a rough start to the season.
He was one of the guys in my youth where I would hoard his baseball cards because Hensley Bam Bam Mullins was supposed to be the next big thing on the New York Yankees, and he was supposed to be it. And I can remember my dad and I actively like, oh, I got a Bam Bam, I got another Bam Bam, Dad. Put it in the safe with the rest of them. It's worth like a nickel, maybe now. But listen, also not. I think he did a decent job for the Giants. I think he was their hitting coach for a while too. But yeah, listen, different voice. Clint Hurdle's and definitely an old voice for the Colorado Rockies. But you never know. Maybe he can tweak some things and get guys back to hitting. But I don't think it's going to, improve their place in the standings. And I think all the credit for that goes to the other 4 teams in the division too. I mean, the other 4 teams in the division are looking very strong.
Yeah, we'll talk about some of the other games in the NL West, but we'll start this morning coming up next by looking ahead to the series against the Houston Astros. And who better to talk a little Houston Astros baseball with than our friend Jeff Blum, former Padre, Astros TV broadcaster, and all-around good guy, father of triplets. Always enjoy talking to Blummer, and he's actually going to join us early here in our 6:30 segment coming up in just a couple of minutes. So we'll preview the Padres series coming up, and then in our 7 o'clock hour, if you missed the announcement yesterday, going to be a regular part of the program on Fridays during SDFC season, one of their voices, and of course, legendary San Diego radio voice Darren Smith is going to be with us. Get his thoughts, of course, on the Padres and everything that's going on in the world of sports. We're happy to give him that platform. While he is not doing a daily show, seems like people will want to know what Darren has to say about things going on in the world. So we got Darren set up on Fridays, and then it is a Friar Friday and a Manager's Report Friday. And stay tuned at 9 o'clock for our Manager's Report with Mike Shildt.
How you doing?
Hey. From Houston, refreshed by Eco Water SoCal. Try alkaline water for just $9.95 a month. Eco Water SoCal, keeping it soft since 1925. And we'll see how Mike Shildt is doing as they start second road trip. Now, the first road trip was okay, 3-3. Nothing like the Padres have played at home so far this season, where they're 12-1. So we'll see how Mike Shilt's doing as they get ready to start this weekend series at, it's not Minute Maid Park anymore, is it? What they changed the name of it, I believe, and I can't remember what it is called now. I'm going to look it up because I want to get it right. It is now Daikin Park.
Daikin Park.
Daikin Park in Houston for 3 games this weekend. We can talk with Jeff Blum, though, about the Astros, what they're looking like, minus a couple of superstars, but still, obviously, some very dangerous players on that team and what the pitching matchups are looking like. And we will get into that coming up next. Of course, all of our regular features as well on a Friday leading up to 10 o'clock with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. GEGE 0000466. For a full list of games and rules, play at 7 Mile Casino. Visit 7milecasino.com.
Yeah, with the team out of town, though, the weekend coming up, if you're looking for something fun to do, Woods and I absolutely, wholeheartedly recommend, if you have any interest in playing California-style blackjack, Texas Hold'em, Pai Gow Poker, or Baccarat, make that trip to 7 Mile Casino. You will not be disappointed, Woods.
Would you call it a full-throated endorsement?
A full-throated, yes.
That's what I.
The throat goat over there?
That's right. Listen, smoke-free environment in there. No slot machines in there. If slot machines are your thing, that's all right. That's no problem. But if cards, if that's your game, that's the place for you. They'll take your high-limit action there as well, take care of you. They got Pai Gow, they got Baccarat, they got Texas Hold'em, and, of course, my beloved California-style blackjack.
And while you're there, you can get a great meal at Sammy's at 7 Mile. And this weekend, Saturdays and Sundays, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., the award-winning brunch, best in the South County. It's right there. How about brunch on the patio overlooking San Diego Bay with the great view, the great atmosphere? It is very comfortable. It's just a great spot. Check it out this weekend.
Yeah, 7 minutes from downtown, my friends.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Jamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
I wish we had more excuses to get Jeff Blum on the phone.
Yeah.
The Padres only play the Astros once a year, but I'm glad we were able to set this one up today. Blummer is standing by. We'll talk about the series coming up. Padres, Astros, first game this evening, 5:10 p.m., and we'll do that right after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Let's hope I don't jinx it by saying Friday light conditions. Yeah, guys, we're not showing really much going on at all. Some minor slowing on northbound 5, taking you out of Chula Vista up to National City. Northbound 805, brake lights mostly just through the North Park area, and it's minor brake light activity. Westbound 52 hasn't really kicked in out of Santee just yet. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
And we're joined right now by former big leaguer, ex-Padre, and now Astros television broadcaster Jeff Blum, back with us here on Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan. Blummer, good morning. It is always good to speak with you.
I feel the exact same way. Always appreciate the opportunity to get back on in San Diego. Thanks for having me.
It's our pleasure, Blummer, man. Baseball season back, probably a little uneven right now for your Stros. Is this kind of what you expected, or did you expect maybe a little bit hotter start?
I mean, the hope is always for a hotter start, but we kind of knew going into spring training with all of, everything that happened over the offseason with the trading of Kyle Tucker and then, Alex Bregman finding that contract in Boston. There was a lot of uncertainty going into spring training, and then you find out you've got Isak Paredes at third base, and you've got Christian Walker at first base, and you lost a right fielder who has been replaced by a 22-year-old phenom who came over in the trade. So it's a lot of there was a lot of hope in spring training because you saw flashes of what could be, but the first couple of weeks have not shown that these guys have found their footing yet, so to speak. There's a couple of guys in that lineup that really need to start stepping it up, I believe.
Well, I think one of them is probably Christian Walker right now, who is just, we saw him so much with the D-backs. And I don't know what his numbers are against the Padres. I feel like they're very, very, very good. New league, new team, all of that. I couldn't be super worried about Christian Walker. I think he's such a good player, but I'm sitting there looking at your lineup on paper and I'm like, oh yeah, that's still pretty nasty if, we don't play games on paper, and we know that well in San Diego, Blummer. But, if those guys get going, I'd say 1 through 7 has the potential to be really, really good.
No, I completely agree, and that's kind of how we, we're not trying to sell the team, but we're definitely trying to give the idea that we've still got depth in this lineup. And if you go on, like you said, if you go on numbers of the past and what potentially could happen with this lineup, you would assume that 1 through 6 would be very good, if not 7, if you had some guys step up. But I think it's kind of interesting that Christian Walker has come over. He's got the track record. He's in a position in a lineup where maybe the expectation isn't for him to be that run producer or that superstar that's going to carry the lineup. So I was kind of hoping for a little more comfort for him, knowing that he was just going to be a guy and continue to be Christian Walker. But he's seen some tough pitches. He's had some tough at-bats, and the production just isn't there. And there's another guy in the lineup, Yainer Diaz, for me, who hit 299 last year as a catcher, who we saw one game where he completely went off, grand slam, 5 RBIs, and we're like, oh, he's back. And then just kind of settles back into being a 120 hitter. So those are the two guys in the lineup. I feel like if they were hitting 200, 250, the Astros record would be a little bit different. But the potential's there. I know it's early in April, but we're still kind of hoping that these guys can figure it out quicker than later.
Jeff, let's talk a little bit about the pitching. Padres catching a break, I think, in dodging Hunter Brown, and also going to miss Tarek Skubal when they go to Detroit on this road trip as well. So
nice.
That's living right.
kind of living right on a 6-gamer when you don't have to face either of those guys. But they will get Framber Valdez on Sunday for ESPN Sunday Night Baseball. He's not up to the hottest start, and I don't know much about tonight's starter. And Ryan, is it Gusto or Gusto?
Gusto.
What can you tell me about your starting pitching here right now?
Well, you're right about Framber. If you look at his, his games this season, he was excellent, pitch terrible, excellent, pitch terrible. So I'm hoping that he, after pitching a poor game in St. Louis, that he turns around and pitches an excellent game against the San Diego Padres. But that's going to be a tough feat because the offensive production that the Padres have been able to put out so far this year. But hopefully he's up to it. It's a walk year for Framber, so I think that there's a lot going inside that heart and mind of Framber Valdez, and I think that he's just got to get back to who he is with that turbo sinker. There might be a little bit of a mechanical issue with his posture a little bit to create a little more sink on that fastball, because his fastball hasn't been that good this year. And I think that'll just make his curveball that much better, because that's his bread and butter, is the fastball curveball mix. To the guy tonight is Ryan Gusto. His story is pretty unbelievable, having been cut on his high school team, had a college coach that believed in him, gave him opportunities, and he's been able to make it work out. He was actually scheduled to make his first big league start of game 162 last season, but it eventually got rained out. So he kind of got left at the altar, so to speak.
Gotta wait.
Like Moonlight Graham, man. Holy cow.
That's exactly what we were wondering if it was going to be like, if that was the only talk we were going to have of him, was during these rain delay breaks giving updates that, there's a potential for a guy getting a start. But fortunately, he was able to make the team out of spring. And the injury to Spencer Arrighetti, which was a tough break for the Astros, is what allowed Ryan Gusto to get in there. But he's just a grinder. He's not going to light up radar guns. He's going to have to pitch well to get around this lineup.
It's funny, Woods and I were both looking at each other when you were talking about Framber Valdez and going, well, it sounds a lot like our starter on Sunday, Dylan Cease, who's kind of been up and down. He's going into a walk year.
Great stuff. Maybe a little mechanical tweak, like it's very, very similar.
But it's fun. I've made the point yesterday. I'm sure you've noticed it, broadcasting the games. Up, down has been the story of the Astros so far. Since April 2nd, the Astros have alternated wins and losses every single game, which is, I guess it makes it hard, I would think, Jeff, to draw any conclusions about a team about are they playing good or bad. I mean, well, what day of the week is it?
It's very consistent, though.
Yeah, there is one thing to be said for consistency, but there's also one thing to be living on a yo-yo, which is just it's terrible to sit in that analyst seat and say, hey guys, they figured it out. We'll show up tomorrow and see what happens. And all of a sudden there's an implosion and they just can't figure it out. And I've got to say, wait till tomorrow, and we hope for the best. But man, I'm hoping for a little more consistency in the other way. But this stretch that they're on right now, facing some tough teams like the Padres, the Toronto Blue Jays are coming in. They've had their opportunities, and that might be the most frustrating thing if you're trying to read some of the tea leaves on how the season's going to go. Is there was a Seattle Mariners series where they had the lead in every game and they ended up getting swept, and that was kind of frustrating, not just for a fan to watch, but I think it was also frustrating inside that clubhouse. And that might be why there's a little more, intensity and urgency inside that clubhouse, creating this up and down type start to the season. So I'm hoping that they catch a couple of breaks, maybe a foul ball ends up being fair with runners in scoring position, or we find an umpire that just has this incredibly generous strike zone with some traffic on the bases that the Astros can kind of go, okay, we got a break, let's move on, because every time we thought that they were ready to break out, they hit a roadblock the very next day.
Talking to our pal Jeff Blum, who does television for the Houston Astros and former Padre as well. Blummer, forgive me for not knowing this off the top of my head, but is Altuve still playing left every day for you guys?
Yeah, no, and don't worry about asking that question, because I get that question every time. I've been covering Altuve since 2013, and he's been a second baseman for a while. And this spring we show up and he's got, he's using, I think, Yordan Alvarez's glove in left field, and he's running around there. And he always puts across this image of being happy and content, doing what's best for the team. But I was really kind of curious myself. What was the impetus behind this move going to left field from second base? And, there was talk about Bregman signing and then moving Isak Paredes to second base. And then that would open up, give Altuve the chance to move to left field. But apparently this is something he wants. And I talked to him yesterday or a couple days ago in St. Louis, and I was like, Poppy, are you doing okay out there? And he goes, I love it. He goes, it's so much easier on my body.
Wow.
He goes, I feel like I'm getting better out there. And he's never going to have the arm that says, don't run on me.
Yeah.
He's going to have to, rely on some athleticism that he still has left at the age of 35. But it's just crazy to think that at the end of last year, if you look at some of the defensive metrics, he was the worst defensive second baseman in the league. And now he's out in the outfield, and I think he's got one or two runs or outs above average in the outfield. And the Astros' overall defense is one of the best in baseball. So you could actually argue that the Astros are better defensively with Jose Altuve in left field, which is crazy. But he's got his glove. He showed it to me. He's got his name on it. It's massive. It looks like it's huge on his hand.
I mean, again, like kudos to him for doing it. You know, we've moved guys around here, man. Jackson Merrill was a shortstop. Fernando Tatis Jr. was a shortstop, and wins a platinum glove. Such a great player. But for me, we talked a lot about it this offseason, and it had to confound you a little bit when you let Kyle Tucker go. Bregman, I guess you could make a case, it's like, man, you heart and soul kind of guys from your team. But the Tucker one for me was the one that I just went, oh, no, you can't let that guy get away.
Yeah, and that one actually had a ripple effect if you want to, take it to the extent that, Nolan Arenado came out in an article and said, he nixed a trade coming to Houston, and he basically said, when they traded Kyle Tucker, it left me a little uncomfortable about making the choice to go to Houston. So that's part of the effect of losing Tucker. But I think there were a couple things that were factored into that. And, it's a tough GM move to do something that Dana Brown did like that so early, because you could have waited until, All-Star break or the trade deadline and kind of see how things go. But I think with the number one thing was the signing of Juan Soto in New York for, $1 billion or wherever it was. That left a lot of consternation with the GM and the owner, Jim Crane, because Jim Crane is not a guy that's going to give out the 10, 15-year contracts. He's not going to give out the $40 million a year, no matter how well you play or how many jerseys you sell. So that was one of the things. And I think, watching what the Angels did with Shohei Ohtani, just letting him go for nothing and just kind of using him for a year and hoping he would stay around, I don't think worked out. And I think that's what led to that trade. So it was a combination of that example from Shohei not getting anything in return for a superstar player. That's what led to that trade. And right now we've got Cam Smith in right field. I mean, he shows a lot of upside. He's early in his career. But I felt like it was a move, a necessary move at the time. And you could argue both ways. It was good and bad, but there was no way they were going to be able to sign it back when, Kyle Tucker is very similar to Juan Soto type numbers and could garner $400, $500 million.
Talking to Jeff Blum, and I was going to ask Blummer how the kids are doing, but then I realized he had the triplets when he was with the Padres, which was back in like 2005, which means they're adults now. How are the adults doing?
They're doing phenomenal, and I always appreciate you guys asking about that, because that's where the family started, was down there in San Diego. And my oldest is going. She's at the end of May, I will have a senior and 3 juniors in college, and the triplets will actually, like you said, they were born in 2005. So on May 3rd, I'm going to have 3 20-year-olds, but they are absolutely thriving down in. I've got 3 at University of Arkansas. I've got 1 at LSU, and we're just enjoying the SEC and things like that. But
crazy, man.
Yeah, Woods and I are both
a good time at it.
Boy dads.
Yeah.
And but we're just like, he's shuddering at the thought of being a girl dad to so many girls.
I'm shuddering at the thought of having 3 at one time. I mean, 1
times 3.
1 at one time is really tough. 2,
that's
3 years
such an
apart.
easy route. That's so easy. Come on, you got to challenge yourself at some point.
It's a challenge. Boys are challenges early.
Yes.
Girls are challenges late. Is what I understand. So.
No, I'm in the middle. I'm in the middle of 4 tuitions and boyfriends.
Oh.
So yeah.
Oh my God.
I know I'm the envy of everybody now.
That's the worst thing I've ever heard in my whole life, Blummer. That is just
you got to do a lot of vetting and asking a lot of questions of the boyfriends.
Saving of money and
gracious.
Oh my gosh,
if any future boyfriends are listening, my brother is an ex-cop. So
okay, good.
Keep that in mind.
All right, we will. We'll keep that in mind, and that's incredible, man. What a great catch up we've had this morning, man. Really appreciate it, Blummer.
No, you guys are great. I always appreciate being on. Thank you.
Thank you,
Jeff Blum, Astros television broadcaster, and yes, father extraordinaire. 4 college tuitions at the same time. I mean,
oh my God,
He did well in his major league career, but even for an ex-big leaguer, that's a big ask right there.
It's not Kyle Tucker money or anything like that. Is he just talked about? Holy cow, dude! What do you do?
I don't know.
Dad, I need books. Dad, you put money in my bank. Dad. Your whole life is just like, I don't know, man.
You better be planning really, really well for many years.
The thought of it makes
3
my
weddings coming up at some point.
Oh, my God.
4 weddings.
He has 4 girls?
Yeah, it's the single and then the 3 triplets that came right
They're
after.
all girls.
They're all girls.
Maron, that is something else, man. Something else.
3.
3 at one time. 4.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
And then
Do you want the wedding staggered? You just want to get it all over within one giant year?
Just one
wedding, one massive wedding festival.
Giant wedding.
Like the Coachella of weddings.
Yeah,
where
be
you
like
have
a music festival.
You have 4 stages in different spots.
Where
they each headline one night. It's a weekend event.
Yeah.
Friday,
it's a weekend
Saturday, wedding
Sunday.
event. Yep.
Yeah, and you want them ideally to marry 3 other triplets, 3 male triplets, to just keep this thing as easy.
We can't have 4 families. We can have 2.
Just keep it as easy as possible. How do you manage it, man?
I don't know.
Jay says, imagine 3 bows at one time. That's easy. 3 Taylors is the hard part. That would be the really hard part. Bo's he's pretty low maintenance. He really is. Taylor's not. He's not low maintenance, not even a little. So I just can't imagine that, man. I cannot imagine. The boyfriend thing too. 20, because they all have different likes and styles, and they want to separate themselves. And oh my God, you bring some scumbag like me home to meet Blummer. Just the worst thing I've ever heard. But congratulations, Blummer.
Good insight on the Astros.
Great
as
insight.
well.
He's awesome.
Clearly, I mean, you look at, Padres are off to a really hot start, and right now they have how many players with an OPS over 800? A bunch that have gotten off to decent starts to the season. The Astros don't have a single player with an OPS over 800 right now.
Think about this, man. Like, I'm looking at this lineup. So Altuve, Paredes, who has the ability to be a star in this league. Yordan Alvarez, one of the most feared left-handed hitters. Christian Walker. Yainer Diaz, who said batted almost 300 last year. Jeremy Pena, who was a World Series MVP. Cam Smith, Victor Caratini, and Chas McCormick playing center mostly like a glove. I would think a glove first center fielder. But yeah, and then is it their bullpen that's been uneven? It kind of sounds like it when he's talking about dropping those 3 to Seattle, in which they had the lead. But yeah, you don't want that lineup that's really, really talented. You don't want them to get on track this weekend.
Sounds like you want to try to get Ryan Gusto tonight, but that is a very right-handed lineup.
Yep.
And Kyle Hart, I mean, that's going to be a challenge for him in the opening game of the series tonight.
Yeah, I think Caratini is the only, and Yordan. And those are the only 2. Caratini's a switch hitter, but
so Kyle Hart's going to have to dance around a little bit tonight.
Get that soft contact, use your defense, and see what happens. But Padres are actually the underdog tonight, so we'll see what happens.
All right, we'll come back, talk more about the NL West next.
Sorry, Ben.
Again.
Oh, again. Grown man, dude. It's not one thing, it's another.
Don't you have like a process?
I was gonna say, do you have like you did everything else?
Yeah, I did everything else.
Brush your teeth, wash your face,
the whole thing, all of it. Showered.
And deodorant's not part of that.
It is. It is. I just forgot it again. It's like the one thing I forget, and I do it maybe once, twice a month.
I feel like in the new vending machines we're supposed to be getting, they might have things like deodorant in them, but we don't have them yet.
They have eyelashes in there. I would hope
fake
there's
eyelashes,
a little thing of degree or something. I have these. I like these. They're called cold showers. Not a sponsor, as Mud and Don will say. And it's a cooling field towel. And so if I start to stink it up, I can just unwrap it, clean the pits off.
It's like a Lysol wipe, but a little more
for your body,
safe for your skin.
Yeah. That's exactly.
You don't
right.
want to be wiping Lysol.
No. I've done it, but it's not
a good idea.
Not ideal. So I do apologize if it starts to smell like garlic in here. Nobody's cooking anything. That's your old pal Woodsy in here just stinking.
Our thanks again to Jeff Blum. Really, really good preview of the upcoming series against the Houston Astros coming up. Padres, of course, were off yesterday, but there were a couple of other teams in action. The Giants finally dropped one. They actually split their 4-game series with the Phillies, which, by the way, most teams will take that. You have to go to Philadelphia for 4 games, and you go 2-2. You go solid series. But yesterday, Christopher Sanchez struck out 12.
Ooh, he was nasty
for the Phillies to split that series 2 games apiece. D-backs are hot. I mean, they are playing the Marlins, but they won their 5th straight yesterday.
Great,
6-4. So the D-backs are now 12-7. 4th place team in the NL West with the 4th best record in all of baseball.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. We just got to keep winning our games. That's really all you can worry about. Keep winning the games in front of you. And you just, I'll let us look at the scoreboards and whatever. But if you're Mike Shildt and you're Manny Machado and all the credit, just win the game in front of you and it will all work itself out in the end. But man, we talked about it on the roundtable yesterday, a good amount. We talked about the NL West and kind of what we all thought, and the which team will peter out. I mean, as it stands today, none of them are going to peter out the way that they're looking right now. And obviously your hope is of the 4 that it's not the San Diego Padres, that injuries don't catch up to them, that, Kyle Hart's able to continue to do what he's been doing. Randy Vasquez is able to continue to do what he's doing. The offense is able to keep grinding out dubs, Ben. Everyone kind of had a strong opinion. A couple people thought, it's definitely going to be the Giants. I don't necessarily agree. A lot of people thought, it'll be the D-backs, and I don't agree with that either. Nobody really thinks the Dodgers are going to peter out based on what they have and their depth. So that leaves us, and I don't think it's going to happen. I'm sure hoping it doesn't, but yeah, man, somebody's going to have to. It doesn't seem like anybody is even giving a little bit right now.
I know in my head, power rankings mean less than nothing.
Less than nothing.
But the snapshot of where everybody is at the season, and people are taking notice of the Padres. ESPN came out with theirs yesterday, and guess what? The Padres overtook the Dodgers and are number 1 in the ESPN power rankings at this point in the season. It doesn't matter. You're right. I know. I don't really care. I think what's telling, though, is that the top 10, I mean, it's like all National League. Padres, Dodgers, Mets, Giants, Phillies, Cubs. Hey, Yankees. Congratulations. An American League team sneaks in there. And then the Diamondbacks. So the top 8, 7 of them are National League teams. Guess what? You don't get 7 playoff teams in a league. You only get 6. So at this juncture, and again, snapshot, things will change as the season goes on. But, if this continued, that means one of the top 8 teams in baseball isn't even going to make the playoffs this year because they are in the National League.
Top teams as we stand today.
But I think it is telling how lopsided right now it looks like the 2 leagues are comparatively, that the National League just is so much deeper this year than the American League.
It's really good.
And, it's good for exciting baseball. You're going to have a lot of big, important series this year at Petco Park against all of these teams when they come into town. But again, someone is going to get aced out at the end, and you can't really afford to have that month, that June swoon or, a May Gray or whatever, where you have just a bad 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Because you could get left in the dust
No question.
in the National League this year.
No question. No question.
And that's true of not just the Padres, but all of those teams that I just mentioned. That's the danger this year. Atlanta, they've had their April swoon here to start the season. Guess what? They got left in the dust already. They're going to have to be fighting and clawing all year long just to kind of get back into a wild card race at this point because of how great the starts have been from all the other teams in the National League that were considered contenders.
Well, and as far as the roadmap to success for the San Diego Padres, as far as, morons like us laid it out at the beginning of the year, we all said it's so imperative that this team has a hot start. Done. You did it. Well done. You've done exactly what you need to do. And, you kind of, when do you turn the page on a hot start, right? When does that, soon, right? So they've played 19 games. They're 15-4. 25 games? 30 games? 40 would be the quarter of the way through the season. So maybe we'll look at 20 more games or so after that. But so far, so good for the San Diego Padres. They did exactly what they needed to do. Mike Shildt's teams traditionally have ramped up.
So I wanted to ask him about that when he comes on today.
Is that just one of those weird anomalies, or is the carryover from last year, the continuity, all that stuff? Did that help them get off to a hotter start? I think it probably did.
I guarantee there's no coach who ever thinks his team is playing perfectly. So there's always room to improve. But really, what would you want your team to improve on at this point? They're doing so many things so well. But the message just can't be, okay, we did it, guys. Now just maintain this the rest of the year. Of course, we'd be thrilled if they did. If the Padres didn't get even a fraction better the rest of the year, but didn't get any worse, is there anyone who wouldn't sign up for that? Just play like this all year long, and you're going to have the best season in Padres history, bar none, no doubt about it. So you don't actually have to get better, but I think that goes completely against what Mike Shildt's entire ethic as manager is that we get better as the game goes on, as the series goes on, as the season goes on.
Yeah.
We have to improve. It's always about improving. So where do you improve on this? You're 15-4. You've been playing sharp, crisp baseball, good situational, everything you're asking your team to do, they are doing. So what are you asking them to do now?
You can ask him. I don't think he's going to answer. I don't think he's going to answer that question.
He might.
Okay.
I can't imagine there's a manager who. Oh, you want a little $5? Will he answer that question?
Will he answer that question?
Yeah. What's the question then?
I asked him the exact same question last year in the middle of a hot stretch.
What areas would you still like to see your team improve on? Despite incredible start, team is playing so well, but what areas would you still like to see your team improve at?
Yeah.
And you think we'll have to have Paulie maybe rule on whether he answers
Paulie
it
can
or
be the
not,
judge.
because sometimes, Mike Shildt answers questions without answering them. Or will he actually give an answer? No, I'd like to see us do this a little bit better and that a little bit better. Or will he just kind of...
Here's what I wonder if he flips it on you. Well, what do you think?
Oh,
he's been doing that lately.
He has been doing that.
That's
a lot of
Is that going to be his new shtick this year? What do you think?
What do I think?
All right, just say.
Well, what do you think?
Oh.
I'm
not answering your dumb question. You have to answer your dumb question.
I don't think it's a dumb question.
Neither do I. I'm just saying. I'm not. Don't lump me into this. I'll be sitting here, ready to ask him about Houston barbecue. All right. Chris in the chat says, "I disagree, Woodsy. I think you have to keep your eye on the standings at all time." Where the hell did that comment go?
Reminds them of how tough your division is going to be this year. No days off. Keep that pedal to the metal.
Yeah,
every game.
I'm looking at the scores like a lunatic, Chris. I'm watching the end of Giants games. I'm watching the end of D-backs games. I'm watching Dodger games because that's who I am. I love the game, and I'm watching our division like a hawk. But if you're Manny Machado and Xander Bogaerts, I don't think you need to be huddled in the clubhouse looking at your phone after game. Go, did the Diamondbacks win? They did? Oh, no. It's April. There's still 140 games to go.
And I agree. East County Chris, it's a long season, guys. Baseball is dumb. There will be ups and downs. Enjoy the ups.
Yep.
Civil Luthi says they're blowing anyone away. They have a few times. There will be sections of the season where the ball bounces the wrong way consistently, and they go 4-10. I do understand that, but I don't think that's ever I just don't think that a manager's message to his team is just keep doing what you're doing, or is it sometimes just keep doing what you're doing? It feels like with Mike Shildt, it's always like, where can we get better?
Yeah.
Where, what can we improve on at this point?
I hope he answers it because I'd be fascinated to know. I really would. I mean,
there's in baseball. It's the great thing about baseball. You can be hitting 400. You can always hit 500.
I know.
I mean, there's always room to improve. Unless you just threw a perfect game and you're a pitcher, there's always room to improve in baseball.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Hey, you're 6 for 6 in stolen bases. Well, could you have gone 10 for 10? Could you have made it 4 other times when we might have needed a steal? Things like that. Like, yeah, there's always room to grow. Nobody has ever played a perfect baseball game, as it were, unless you've thrown a perfect game. Nobody's ever really been perfect. 4 for 4. That's a great night.
And
you
even
do it again tomorrow.
Even those perfect games, someone barreled one and it just happened to go right at someone.
The third baseman.
There is no such thing as a perfect baseball game.
Right.
It just doesn't happen. I mean, if you were perfect offensively, you'd never get out. So the game would never end.
It'd be like cricket. Still up there hitting for 6 months. Yeah. Yeah.
So there's always a chance you can get better. But let's be honest, we'd all be very happy if the Padres were still playing like this in June and then in August and then in October.
Yeah, and it's funny.
This is playoff, good quality baseball.
Jeff's absolutely right. In the chat, our buddy Jeff from Fantasy Camp says, guys already know they can get better. I doubt Mike Shildt needs to tell them anything about weak spots right now. He's just there to keep the vibes high, communicate as needed, and probably be an ear for some guys. And I doubt very much he's, you need to make sure you get that butt down on those ground balls. You know what I mean? I think he's doing a great job. So far, so good. So obviously, one at a time. Win tonight. Worry about tomorrow. All
right. We got Don't Do This is coming up in our next segment. Let's see. The old tweet then delete bit.
Oh, tweet and delete
made an appearance in Major League Baseball yesterday.
Well, and again, I get a little annoyed when people hold up New York sports talk radio as the highest of the high, because I do feel that they have not evolved even a little bit yet. We'll play you some audio next.
All right, we'll get to a check of traffic, and then Don't Do This coming up when we return on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Jamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
Don't Do This brought to you by Trust and Will.
Don't.
Leave your entire estate, house, kids, and life savings up to chance if and when you die.
Do.
Set up a trust or will online at trustandwill.com. This is a lot more affordable than you think. Visit trustandwill.com for more info. All right, I will start us out in the world of baseball. Yesterday, the New York Yankees had the very unusual circumstance of being the road team in their own spring training ballpark for the first time.
That is true.
Playing the Tampa Bay Rays at Steinbrenner Field. Yeah, it's kind of awkward, actually. That's not the DDT. We knew that was coming, though. During the game, Jazz Chisholm Jr. of the Yankees took I think it was a 2-2 pitch that he probably should have been rung up on, and they called it a ball.
Right.
And then on the 3-2 pitch, it was probably a ball, but they called it a strike. And he argued and got ejected by plate umpire John Bacon for that. And then he immediately went into the clubhouse and tweeted something that I can't say totally on the air.
Just read it.
Let's see. Where's the actual tweet? It was deleted.
It's his words, not yours.
It's his words.
It was his
You're
words.
a journalist.
Well, I can't say one of the words on the air.
Fake it.
Let's see. Where's the actual tweet? I had it.
You said it was deleted.
It was deleted, so I can't find the actual tweet. But
it said not even effing close.
There it is.
Said.
Yes, but then he immediately deleted that because you're not supposed to tweet, use any electronic devices at all during games. I guess if you're ejected, you're not in the game
Yeah,
anymore. But
you're in the clubhouse.
He said afterwards, I lost my emotions. I lost my cool. I got to be better than that. I'm definitely mad at myself for losing my cool. I don't know. In this day and age, if an umpire knows they probably missed a call, if you're the batter, you got to know, you got to expand your strike zone a little bit on the next pitch, right? Sure. If you feel like you might have gotten away with one.
It was a close pitch. I mean, it was not egregious.
No, it wasn't. Opinion. It wasn't. And, if I'm an umpire, I know I'm thinking that way. All right, 2-2 pitch, really close. I might have gotten that one wrong. So I'm giving a little extra to the pitcher on the next pitch to make up for it. I know you're not supposed to do that. And just every pitch is its own thing. But so many pitches are so close. I would in my mind,
call balls and strikes. Just if it's a ball, it's a ball. If it's a strike, it's a strike. If you miss one, you miss one. Try to get the next.
But what about all those pitches that are truly borderline?
What's your decision? Stick with your, live with your decision. That's why they pay you. Make your decision and live with it. I'm gonna get you back, buddy. Don't worry. Sorry about that. No,
call balls and strikes. Do that.
Of course they do. Of course they do.
And it's not necessarily wrong. I think just do that.
We'll fix all of this with ABS. All of it.
Yeah.
I can't wait. But Jazz also said, he goes, yeah, I tweeted it. It was me. I know the fine's coming.
Wasn't hacked.
I'm a big boy. I can take the fine. Yeah. I screwed up. My fault. And they move on. Let's go out to New York City.
New York City.
The bastion of sports radio. We tell it like it is. No coddling. Salicata. What station's he on? WFAN?
Yeah.
Is that our sister station?
It is.
All right. Is this not old? Does this not get old to you guys? It makes my neck hurt. Like, does this not old?
Padres fans, does this feel like you a couple of years ago?
Does this seem performative to you? Juan Soto signed the mega deal to play for the New York Mets. He's batting .221. He's got 3 homers, 7 RBI. His OPS is .773. Not the most ideal start for a 700.
But certainly not horrible.
Well, it's 19 games.
Yeah.
We're 19 games into a 162 game season and like a 12-year contract. So
15 year.
15 year. Sorry. Sal, you got to pace yourself a little bit. You're going to burn it. He's already bald. You can't lose any more hair. Your hair, if you had it, would be falling out right now with takes like this yesterday.
Juan Soto has stunk to start his Mets career. I never thought I would be at this point with Juan Soto, a guy who I begged and pleaded the Mets to go get, a guy who I wanted more than any player ever in my fandom. I wanted Juan Soto. The Mets delivered, and every single time this guy has come up in a big spot this year, and there have been plenty, he has failed. And yesterday, a despicable 0-for-5 with 3 strikeouts, leaving a small village on the base pass as the Mets lose a series. You don't pay $765 million to a guy who gets on base 40% of the time. Bullcrap. Every single time he's come up in a big spot, he has failed this year. He did not do that with the Yankees. I don't want to hear the excuses from Soto. I don't want to hear people tell me that the walks are good. I want to start seeing some production now.
I mean, bro, you are going to burn yourself.
It's going to be a long 15 years for that guy.
I agree with you. It is overwrought. It's performative. But there is something about Juan Soto that does lend itself to those takes over and over and over again.
It's that thing where you have to judge that man on his body of work, as you should. He's not going to get a hit no one.
Manny's a little bit like that.
Manny's like that too. He breeds some of that, those takes and stuff. But again, that's just standard fare for New York. I don't know if they're mornings or afternoons. I think they might be afternoons. Is that right?
I think so.
It's just it's fake, right? Like, that's fake.
I mean,
that's performative.
There was definitely some real fans here in San Diego who felt that way when Juan Soto was here. Like, swing the bat.
Kez is here right now.
We're not paying you to walk.
He was like, that dude is the most overrated player ever.
See, there are real takes like that.
He's absolutely not the most overrated player ever.
He's not. But he has a style of play that frustrates at least a certain segment of baseball fans that want to see him be more aggressive at the plate.
Like, don't we all think that at the end of the year, I mean, you saw what he did in the playoffs last year for the Yankees, the big home runs he hit. We all agree that dude really, like, if you had to bet on it, his numbers will be there at the end of the year. Like,
of course.
I feel very strongly in saying that his number, they always are. You know, and even in his down year here, his down year for the Padres, far and away our leader in hitting that year. It was a crap year for everybody, but he was the leader of all the Padres in all hitting metrics.
I think Mike Shildt said something very wise on Wednesday, and he said this before as well, but it applies to Juan Soto in this case. He said, yes, we have a philosophy. We want you to be aggressive at the plate, but most importantly, we want you to be yourself. He said it's very
yourself.
It's miserable trying to be someone else. And Juan Soto's style of baseball is he's not going to swing at a pitch that he doesn't feel like is his pitch and is outside the zone. So I think if you're really desperate to try to turn Juan Soto into something else, you'll be more disappointed in the end result.
If you
changed him?
Do you want him to be Stephen Kwan? Like, is that the ultimate goal? Like, do you want him to be Stephen Kwan? Do you want him to be Luis Ariz? Do you want him to be, the great hitters of history that, were just contact guys and whatever? Like, if you want him to be Stephen Kwan, I'm sure he could be.
Oh, yeah.
But
it'd be a really good version of that.
Yeah, you want him, again, like, and everyone, the money gets brought up, obviously. And it's, somebody said he's good. He's not $800 million good. Well, he is because the Mets paid him $800 million. So the pressure on him has got to be insane, right?
I think Wesley in the chat nailed it very simply. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he's going to be a Hall of Famer.
That's why I wasn't super stoked that we had to trade him.
There's no doubt.
I like it when future Hall of Famers are on my team in their prime.
Yeah.
But because everybody's different.
Yeah. And again, he's new team fitting in. It's been 2 weeks. Like, I don't know. I'm not doing that radio. I can't do it. Sorry.
Good. All right, finally, a little do this.
DD mega doo-doo.
Old friend alert. Always like getting caught up on what Matt Strom is doing in Philadelphia. And he's one. I mean, would you appreciate leaning into the bit? And Matt Strom is very much himself as well.
Very much.
He likes his baseball cards. He's good. He's a fun guy.
He's very outspoken.
He also looks a little bit like actor Nick Cage. People like to bring this up occasionally. It's like, all right, I'll play with that one. So in that spirit, Matt Strom this week showed off his brand new glove that has the Declaration of Independence on it.
That's
he said,
good.
yeah, I stole it and put it right onto my glove. It's actually a really cool, especially in Philadelphia. It's a really cool glove. Now, the unfortunate part is it's probably not going to be allowed to use it.
Why?
Well, Major League Baseball rules state, Rule 1.15, the pitcher's glove may not, exclusive of piping, be white, gray, nor in the judgment of an umpire distracting in any manner. And it's printed on white, which would probably make it ineligible to be used during a Major League Baseball game. But it's a cool glove.
It is one of my most fun bits to do as an adult league manager is to make the opposing pitcher take off his white sleeves and take his batting gloves out of his back pocket as he's pitching, which happens a lot in adult league. But he can't throw with white sleeves. All right. Happened at fantasy camp. I made somebody take his white. I go, Mud, what are we doing here? You're gonna let your guy throw in white sleeves? Is this amateur hour? What are we doing?
Forgot about that.
Remember that? Yeah. You got to do it. Little league dads, know this. Don't put your kid out there in a white sleeve to pitch. They're going to make you take it off.
Paulie's put the side by side. And that's the most Nick Cage looking picture of Matt Strom ever. Or is that just Nick Cage in a Phillies jersey?
It's Nick Cage. Somebody superimposed his face. I mean,
That's
it's
the one that you see everyone.
Is that really Matt Strom? That looks more like Nick Cage.
That's Nick Cage.
When we talk to Matt Strom in person, I don't immediately think,
me neither.
Oh, that looks like Nick Cage.
Me neither. But there was one night where the hair was flowing, the whole thing. So somebody put his face on there. It's close. It's close enough. But that's a bummer. You go get that nice glove made and you can't even use it.
Probably not.
That's pretty sick though.
And that is don't and do this for a Friday.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
Yeah, Keaton Lee Real says that's the real Nick Cage, just in a
Phillies
Phillies
that's the real Nick Cage.
jersey.
It's a Photoshop.
Yeah. All right, when we come back, we'll talk with Darren Smith, one of the voices of SDFC, his new weekly segment with Ben and Woods. Can't wait for that to start. That is coming up next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. First, though, want to tell you as we head into the weekend, if you're thinking about losing weight for the summer, now is the time to get started, because if you start now, We'll still be in the June gloom phase by the time you're already losing the weight. And by the time we get into the actual San Diego summer of July, August, and September, you will be feeling brand new. You can lose up to a pound of fat per day and 10 to 20% of your body weight by following the SDFatLoss.com program, which is doctor developed. It involves eating regular foods from the grocery store. You do not have to buy any shakes. You do not have to buy any bars. You don't need to do any injections, and you don't even have to exercise. You just follow the program like I did and lose weight. I lost 40 pounds in 60 days. So many tier ones over these last year and a half or so, as I've been telling you about it, have followed the program, lost thousands of pounds in San Diego. They help you. If you get off track, they get you back on track, and everyone gets off track. You know, they say, hey, don't worry. If you have a cheat day or two, it's fine. We'll get you right back on track. I loved that attitude from my counselor. It always felt like I was fine every time, and I did. At the end of 60 days, I lost all that weight. You can do it as well. Please, just set up your free consultation by going to SDFatLoss.com. Still now during the spring, take advantage of the spring special. Get $200 off the program. Why not? You're going to lose the weight anyway. Might as well do it for a little less at SDFatLoss.com. Results may vary.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Jamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
Pretty fun Friday here with Ben and Woods. Of course, stay tuned later this morning at 9 a.m. for the Manager's Report with Mike Shildt, refreshed by Eco Water SoCal. Try alkaline water for just $9.95 a month. Eco Water SoCal, keeping it soft since 1925. But we got a new Friday feature coming up for you. We're going to talk some soccer and more with Darren Smith, one of the broadcasters now for SDFC. And we'll get to Darren right after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan. So, Woods, when we had Darren Smith in studio a couple of months ago, I think it was like later that morning that he was officially named one of the broadcasters for
exactly
SDFC.
Right.
So now I can finally officially congratulate him on that news months later as Darren Smith joins us here on 97.3 The Fan. Good morning, Darren, and congratulations belatedly.
Well, thank you. I did my best to drop a couple of hints in that conversation. So, yeah, I put that out there for people to sort of suspect that I was going to be involved in some capacity. But I can also give you the traffic report on Imperial Beach Boulevard right now. There's one guy jogging east to west towards the Pacific Ocean. And if I stand here long enough, I guarantee that Will Holder will stroll by.
Oh, yeah. Our beloved Will. Yeah. He's been fairly calm after the 15-4 start for the Padres right now. But, you know, if we hit a rough patch. If you don't know Will is a diehard Padres fan, and he doesn't ride the wave very well. He gets a little bit worked up about it, but what a great human being he is. D. Smith, first of all, how's it been for you, man, calling these games? I know you did a lot of stuff with Loyal when they were here, but this is different. This is a different level. How's it been?
Yeah, it's been a lot. Just because everybody I think understands and knows that I like the sport, but I'd be lying if I said I knew a ton about Major League Soccer. So this is each and every week been a total crash course in who it is that SDFC is playing, whether it's been Galaxy or LAFC. There's been surface level knowledge for me about some of these teams, but I like literally, my wife makes fun of me because I sit here and I have the pronunciation guides, and they have these audible pronunciation guides for all these players now. So I literally just sit in a room playing this audio, and she comes in the room and I'm playing these, and there's a lot of European names and Scandinavian names. So, it's just been a lot of learning about the players, about the rosters. It's been incredibly rewarding to see something growing from the ground up. I think that the way they built the team here locally, Mike Ivaris is just like he fits in so well with the landscape of San Diego to me, and to learn some of, how their players operate and who they are and that sort of thing. It's been really cool. Like, it's just been great to be around it, see something building from the ground up. But yeah, I mean, it's been a lot of work, getting prepared for these broadcasts, like I said, I feel like I'm back in college and I'm just cramming for all these tests week in, week out, because, what did I really know about Charlotte Football Club before I started looking at them like literally Tuesday of this week? So, I think the best thing is that it's been embraced by the community. I love the fact that you guys are talking about it, and, that you guys feel like you're invested in it. And, Woodsy, you and I talked a little bit about it, about how you and your kids are watching some of these games. So, I think it's just been a really cool thing. I think it fits in really well with the ecosystem of San Diego sports.
You need to settle a debate for me and Mrs. Woods that we had 2 days ago. I was in the shower. Not a great sight.
Nice.
Not a great sight for anyone. But she came up to the window, we have a glass shower.
Frosted or completely
It's
clear?
completely clear,
Okay.
but the steam, it was all steamy.
Okay.
And she's like tapping on the window. I was like, yes. It's 4 a.m. Like, yeah. I want to take the kids to SDFC game. I said, I do too. I would love to. And she said, so I found a date. It's at 1:30 in the afternoon. It's one of the few day games. And I looked at her and I go, no. And she goes, why? I go, well, I want to see the blue orb and the pomp and circumstance at night. And I want to see I want to be there at night. She goes, it's 7:30. There'll be they'll want to go to bed. I go, it's a weekend. We can do this. And we really didn't have it out, but we had this kind of debate going on. I go, you know what? I'm just going to ask Darren when we have him on Friday, our new weekly guest, day game, night game. I think the answer's clear.
I don't think, have you had a day game yet? You don't even know.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really speak from experience on that one, but what I can tell you is, part of going to the game so far has been the ambiance created by the supporters.
Yeah,
and I would tell you, we could have a kickoff at 9 o'clock in the morning, and those guys are going to be rowdy. Those guys are going to be so into it. So in terms of wanting to feel the energy and wanting to feel the excitement and hear the singing and the drums and all that sort of stuff that comes with it, and how crazy the supporter section has been, whether it's been home, whether it's been away. That's not going to matter. I mean, I can't speak from experience other than LA Galaxy, right? But those dudes are going to be into it no matter what time of the day, no matter where this team is playing. They're going to be all about it. But I really enjoy the night. I like when they turn the lights out at Snapdragon Stadium and that place just gets illuminated by the 30,000 people there with their cell phones, right? I think that looks, I've seen it each time, and it still gets the hairs on the back of your neck raised when you're in it and you feel it. So I'm not going to pick a side here.
You have to.
Only because I just will tell you, I think I'm not. Not my first week. I'm not going to send you guys off the couples count. But
well, we already go, so it's fine. We go every other Thursday, so it's fine. Yeah, it's no big deal.
Yeah, I think you're probably both right. But I do think there's something special about it at night. And I think part of what they've created there is also the pregame festivities. It's what's going on in the parking lot. And I know you think as parents, well, maybe that's not for us, and we have kids. There's plenty of kids that run around and do all that sort of stuff. So they really are creating not just an atmosphere for a bunch of rowdy people, who are enjoying themselves and drinking. They are doing a lot of things. They have a fan fest, kids fan fest, things like that. So, they've actually created a really cool vibe for people of all ages.
So Darren, you're cramming for MLS and Charlotte FC. Woods and I, and we've been honest about this. We're still in remedial soccer class and kind of learning as we go. And I've never been the guy, I've never woke up on Sundays to watch the Premier League or anything. Really, my extent of soccer has been watching U.S. national team matches, World Cup and qualifiers. And, I watched a lot of those. And now I start watching SDFC and I go, wait, this is not the kind of soccer I'm used to watching. With the national team, it always felt like they play this feudal style of just trying to kick the ball way up the field and then hopefully run it down and score a goal, get lucky once.
And I feel like they always disappoint us. These guys haven't disappointed us at all.
And I watch SDFC and I go, okay, they just pass it and control the ball. And I find it very enjoyable. But are you surprised at the style that SDFC has played and how successfully they've implemented it so quickly? Because it seems like they're really the talk of the league with the way they control the soccer ball.
Yeah, I think you're right. And, I think it's, Mikey Varas gets asked the same question essentially every week, oh, you're playing this team. Are you going to tweak your style? You're playing on the road. You're playing at altitude. This week you're playing on turf. Are things going to change? And he kind of, he's not getting fed up, but he's like, I'm going to keep saying the same thing. We are going to play the way that we want to play. And it's a fair question because lots of soccer teams do adjust their style based on how they play at home, or whether they're playing at home, I should say, or whether they're playing on the road. Because, the adage is you want to win your home games, and you can play for a draw every once in a while when you're playing away from your home environment. So, it's a fair question because a lot of managers manage that way. And he's like, no, this is what we're going to do. We have a style that is built in from our sister club, which is in Denmark. So we know this is the way that we are going to play, and we are not going to change it. And, sometimes I think even in the soccer world, when you talk about teams that pass the ball a lot, that also can be a bit boring because you're just passing the ball sideline to sideline. And there's no real forward progress being made, but that's not what SDFC does. They pass the ball a ton. They pass the ball more than anybody else in Major League Soccer, but they also progress the ball. They advance the ball. So it's not just that they're trying to occupy, to just have the ball, pass it back and forth, have their defenders pass it back and forth between the goalkeeper, right, and just sort of wait for an opportunity to strike. Like, they are a very aggressive, progressive type team. So, yeah, I mean, I appreciate it because they're unrelenting and they're unwavering. And, I even asked this week a little bit about some of the stuff because, there's been a couple of mistakes made in this style. And Mikey's like, we're going to make mistakes.
Yeah.
We've only played 8 times. Like, we are willing to make mistakes in order to make sure that we are true to our identity and our style. And I kind of love that about them, that this is who they are. And they are unapologetically going to play the style of play, and it seems to be impressing a lot of people.
Talking to the great Darren Smith here on Ben and Woods this morning. So what can you tell us about Charlotte after all of your cramming there? Based on my very, very rudimentary research, Darren, tough team. SDFC is on the road. They're a slight underdog tonight, or Saturday, sorry. And but the Charlotte's in what, second, third place in the East. What do you foresee happening on Saturday?
Yeah, I think it's the toughest game of the year. And obviously some of that is hindsight, right? Because even going up to LA, you're like, oh man, it's the defending MLS champs. But I think I remember, being in with you guys and feeling like Galaxy was kind of ripe for the picking just because they had made a bunch of changes and their whole week was about celebrating. This is going to be hard. Charlotte just doesn't lose at home very often. This is expansion club from 2022. So this is their 4th season. They've only lost 9 times in Charlotte. And they play on turf. This is the longest trip of the year for SDFC. This will be the longest trip for some of these guys in their careers because guys that have played in Europe, when you think about a player like Luca De La Torre, right, from Torrey Pines High School. He's played in England. He's played in the Netherlands. He's played in Spain. What are those road trips like? It's like going across the state of California. So, it's not an excuse. It's just the reality that guys have to get used to different circumstances. They've never played on this kind of turf. They have a turf practice field, but to talk to them yesterday, they're like, yeah, it's not the same turf, so there's no point in us practicing on that. So they're literally practicing on the field today at Bank of America Stadium where the Carolina Panthers play. But Carolina just doesn't lose at home. They're 4-0 this year. They have the best goal differential at home, and historically, it's just been a really, really tough place to play because of the circumstances. But it doesn't change anything for SDFC. They've really good individual players. And, I think that the 2 wingers in Lozano and Dreyer might be able to find a little bit of success. So I would think there's going to be some goals here. It's a hard game. It's a really, really hard game to go ahead and win. But, we've been surprised by this team before. So, why not?
Last soccer question for me, Darren. How much have you reset your expectations from game 1 to game 8 now? I mean, you have to, based on what you've seen, but where were they when the season started? Where are they now?
I think, yeah, I mean, I mean, there's part of me that says mathematically, that they are, they're still capable of breaking the all-time MLS expansion record for wins in a season.
Which is what?
But that is 17 by St. Louis a couple of years ago. So that they have 4 wins right now, I think holds up mathematically, although that's not my strong suit. But, is that realistic based on what you're going to have to do all summer long, that you're only 8 out of 34 into this, and you also have this other tournament, Leagues Cup, coming up in the middle of summer, and injuries, right? Like, we talk about this in the context of the Padres. Is 15-3 sustainable? Probably not, but you allow your mind to think along those lines, and I think that they don't mind that sort of stuff. I think the thing is, like, they have expectations there. Like you hear a lot of commentary about SDFC, and the commentary is always with the caveat, oh, they're really good for an expansion team.
Right.
Or they're having a lot of success. Like, they have a style for an expansion team. And I don't think they built a team just to be good to compare themselves to other expansion teams. I think what they did is they have a design here that they want to be good in the league. And so, I think that they think that they're a playoff team. I mean, are they a top 2 or 3 team in the Western Conference? I don't know. I mean, maybe if everything goes right, but, I just think that getting an expansion club in there historically, it's not led to a ton of success. But with these guys, I think that they think a little differently and they're not afraid to be bold. So, I think playoffs are, anything short of playoffs would be a disappointment for them.
It's a couple minutes left, D. Smith. The similarities between the start for the Padres and SDFC are they're right there. I mean, we've all been saying it. They have to come out of the gates hot. And, when you're an expansion team, yeah, certainly, they're going to be here for a while, right? But it certainly makes it a lot more palpable and gets a lot more eyeballs on it. And I think the exact same thing can be said for the San Diego Padres. Throwing 41,000 people in there on a Wednesday is bananas.
Yeah, I mean, 47,000 on a Monday, 41,000 on a Wednesday. I mean, yeah, and it is. And I know it, it makes everybody feel good, right? Like there's a tremendous amount of pride associated with, how well these teams have been supported and how well the Padres have been supported. And, it makes me proud as somebody who's, who lives here and who's staying here, to see the kind of support that the teams are getting, and how can you think it doesn't matter to the players,
right,
the way they played at home, so, I think we're living in a really good time in terms of having these two teams with the overlap that they have. So, I mean, I'm with you. I'm pretty bullish on both of the teams.
100%.
Like 100%. As I said to you previously, like, I'm pretty bullish. Obviously we don't know what we don't know, but and there's no way to predict the future when it comes to some of the things that will go wrong for either side. But yeah, like, I mean, it's what a time to be a San Diego sports fan. And I do love that so many fans are into both of the teams as well. Like, I think that just makes everything. And I also like that some of the players, listen, generally speaking, I don't really care, if players are embraceable or likable figures, but I feel like on both sides, and I can speak from personal experience when it comes to both of them, on both teams, you really do have kind of good dudes, and that's a bonus. Like, having a good team is the most important thing. Having a good team with like dudes that you can actually root for, I think is just a bonus on top of it.
Last minute here, and I have to get this question in because if you listen to Darren over the years,
ask him about the earthquakes.
No, if you listen to Darren over the years, he was such a good interviewer. We've got Mike Shildt. He can sometimes be tough to interview. What should I ask Mike Shildt today, Darren?
Well, he's from Charlotte, isn't he?
Yeah, yes. I'm not going to ask him that.
Boy, I don't want soccer.
You're not gonna, yeah, I mean, why don't you, is there some tie-in with him and Manny, or is that some sort of subject internally?
Yeah. I don't know.
Charlotte FC and SDFC. Maybe there's.
They got a soccer. They got a soccer team there. The Charlotte what? The Charlotte what? Oh God!
What?
What'd you say?
You're going to ask me about the Coca-Cola 600? Yeah.
All right, no help from Darren, right?
No.
I don't know. What can you?
What do you say? They're 15-4. Keep up the good work.
See, it's not that easy.
It's not that easy.
Darren Smith's having trouble with this one.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm remembering my early career, right? And then you probably had the same conversation with Axel, where he's like, "Man, these teams are too good. Around here."
So good.
It's
always our problem in San Diego. Our teams are just way too good all the time, Darren. All right, well,
thank you, buddy.
I'm on an island here. We got to go, but Darren, we'll talk to you again next Friday. I love this.
Hey, thank you, guys. And Woodsy, congratulations. I never would have gone to indoor lacrosse if it wasn't for you.
Thank you, man. Excited. Thanks so much.
Darren Smith, our new weekly guest, talking soccer and more. And you know what? I do think a rising tide. I know sports teams sometimes think they're competing with each other,
but
I think the Padres with more people actually brings more people to soccer, brings more people. Seals are expecting sellout or close to it tonight. Yep. I mean, good sports, I think, lifts everybody in town.
No doubt.
Together. All right, we'll reset everything. We got 2 hours to go here on a Friday. Don't go anywhere. We still have Mike Shildt coming up on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, my friends, we are halfway home on a Friday. Ben and Woods, 97.3, The Fan, home of your San Diego Padres. Got the skipper, Mike Shildt, coming up at 9 a.m. Looking forward to talking to Shildt. He's out in Houston right now. Seeing a lot of Tier 1s have made the trip out there, out to Houston as well. That's cool. That's cool. I'm excited for our trip to Philly. We got some good stuff planned. That's coming in early July. We'll maybe get a good look at Matt Strom's Declaration of Independence glove.
Was Houston even on our radar when
No.
we were looking? I don't think so.
Because I said I kiboshed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate
I've been to
Houston.
Houston.
No, I hate it.
It's not the best.
It's Dallas and LA, man. You know, it's San Diego and LA, Dallas and Houston. It's the same vibe. Like I grew up in Dallas. You don't like Houston. I dated a girl from Houston. I used to have to go there like to her parents' house. I was like, this is a nightmare. Like 4-hour drive, slog through traffic. It's
I
so
think
big.
a
huge
It's
city. Huge city.
I think of Texas, and I think 4 major cities: Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, maybe, and
And
then Austin. Do they all hate
Austin's
each
the
other?
best.
No, they don't. It's just Dallas and Houston.
Got it.
Yeah.
Austin's cool. I've never been to San Antonio.
It's really cool.
but
San Antonio's.
Yeah.
I think I'm
Austin's
good.
cool. Austin's cool.
Hey, go to the River Walk. Cool. That's it. It's not great. It's not great at all.
The
Woodsy.
Alamo in
The
San
Alamo,
Antonio.
yeah, it's fine. I mean, do it once and
No, wait. I did go to San Antonio once
You
because
went
I've
to the
been to the
Alamo?
Alamo. Yeah.
You remember the Alamo?
I do now remember. I had forgotten the Alamo, but now I remember
You're not supposed to forget the
Alamo.
Alamo.
Literally
Ever. I was a
in the
kid.
name. Remember
I was
the
a kid. I
Alamo.
went with Grandma. It was Lakers Spurs. We went to a playoff series there, and we went to the Alamo.
Gator Pottery says San Antonio is better than Dallas. You're out of your mind. At what? Being boring as hell? At what? Crazy. I don't even ride hard for Texas or Dallas at all anymore, but those are fighting words. But yeah, a lot of Tier 1s went down there. Yeah, look, it'd be a fun ballpark to go check out. But when the thought of like us taking a show trip, I was like, I don't want to go somewhere I've been 100 times that I absolutely loathe just to go to the ballpark.
So I view it slightly different. I've never been to Texas
At all?
The Dallas airport. Got lost. It's massive.
It's massive.
When we were planning our show trip, it's kind of a delicate balance of what's a fun city to go to,
Correct,
and the ballpark
and a good ballpark
and all that atmosphere, because there are plenty of stadiums that I really want to see.
Correct.
But it would have to be like a work thing. Like I would love to go to PNC Park.
Yeah.
I don't know that I ever see myself vacationing in Pittsburgh.
Nobody's ever
I've heard
vacationed in
Milwaukee
Pittsburgh.
is amazing, and
It is cool.
Miller Field.
We would like that.
I don't know that I could convince the wife to go on a anniversary vacation to Milwaukee. That could be like a show trip.
But the Sausage King over here to my left, him in Milwaukee,
Abe Froman,
he would be
Ben Froman.
Nobody loves sausage as much as you do. You lose your mind in Milwaukee.
I think so.
Like we would find him with like sausages hanging out of his pockets. It's like, man, I'm saving it for later. We'll go back to the room.
Links all together, just throw them over
your shoulder.
Yeah.
Yeah, walking around with links around you. Around like a sash.
It's like Mardi Gras. Beads. Ben's just got
He's
sausage
shirtless. Ben, take your shirt off for sausage. Treat yourself a round of sausage. You can do that in Milwaukee. You would love Milwaukee. Oh my God.
I think so.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's a fun, cool city.
There's also, if you go the right time of year, you don't know this, phenomenal golf in Wisconsin.
I believe it.
Phenomenal golf.
I believe it.
Like Chicago, New York, Boston. Like I could see myself
sure
there for another reason. You're like, oh, got to go check out a ball game here. There are some cities where I'm like, I don't know that I necessarily see myself rolling through there, but it would be great to catch a game there. St. Louis, I would go to a game at Busch Stadium. Is it still Busch Stadium?
The ballpark tour. It's weird. For as much as I love baseball, and I love it, it's so much. For as much as I love baseball, if I'm on my deathbed and they're like, dang, Woodsy, you only made it to 7 ballparks, I'll be like, all right. I mean, it will not end me. You know what I mean? Like, it's not. I think about like my dad, who will be 70 in a couple of weeks. And I know that he still has like 9 things he wants to do. And it bothers me that he doesn't just go out and do them. Like he loves golf more than anybody I know, including yourself, Ben. And he's never played in Scotland. If I had money, that trip would have already been done. But he has money. So it's go to do the trip, right? these bucket list things, like you only get one shot at this. Once I go to England and get to go to Liverpool in July, like I'm pretty good. Like that can be it for me. And I will have done mostly everything that I've wanted to, literally mostly everything I've wanted to do. The ballpark list is so far down. I'm now see myself. We got to get out to a Rays game. I just got to. I got to get down to a Rays game. You know, it's never been the thing that I have to do. It's funny
that you mention that because, you know, I've never been to Scotland either.
Right.
And it's not that I don't want to go, but it's not a bucket list item for me. You know, I watch the golf over there, and I'd rather go to Ireland, I think, if I was going to go over there and play golf.
Same general idea.
But I have decided I need to be better about crossing some of the things off that I really want to do.
Yeah.
And I haven't even told you guys this yet, but I did book for next May, going to Bandon Dunes finally.
Nice.
Yes.
In Oregon, which is kind of the Scotland of America. So yeah, my buddy Scott and I finally we booked it.
Sir.
We got the dates. Maddie Janella helped facilitate a really good itinerary for us. So yeah, you're gonna miss me for
awesome.
You're gonna miss me for 3 or 4 days, but I finally decided.
Thanks for the invite, by the way.
I gotta get it
thanks
done.
for the invite. That's cool. We would hate it. Paulie.
I knew you.
I got some friends.
Interest.
They drive down annual trip.
36 a
Seattle.
day. There's nothing to do other than golf.
Yeah.
36 a day. I would play 12 a day and call it a day, and
There's
then
no
go
carts.
sit in a room.
No carts at all.
Pass.
You're walking the whole time.
Pass.
I figured I'm not gonna even ask.
Smart. Yeah, I didn't invite you guys to go to England with me
because I would have passed.
You don't want to go see where Ian Curtis hung himself. You know what I mean? Exactly. Like that to me is like a pilgrimage. So, this is where Morrissey went to elementary school. Ben's like, I don't care. I do not care. Not even a little bit do I care at all. But no, I'm actually very proud of you because that is like the
put down the deposit and everything. So it's
nice.
It's actually happening.
That's like the American man's England, Scotland, Ireland, you know, and I have friends that go, they're golf junkies and they wanted to plan a trip. We actually talked about it when we were all really into golf. And the more I thought about it, I said, it's just not for me. 36 a day, really challenging courses and desolate. I just said, I don't love golf that much. Now, like for me,
if I was as good as Ben is,
I'd go.
No brainer.
Right. But like I'm going back to Arizona to play in the World Series this year with my adult baseball team. That was always such a blast. You may go, the thought of playing 2 games a day for 5 days makes me sick, right? But that's getting to play on those fields. Like that's my Bandon Dunes. So I'm really happy for you. You're going to miss me a few days in October too.
Got in the chats talking about baseball stadiums still and all the other ones. Did you guys ever like consider trying to check off every baseball stadium? When I was in college,
there was a time.
My buddy Cameron and I, he was like a student teacher at the time, so he had summers off, and I was just still going through school, working part-time and all that, and we had mapped out in our living room like what the trip would look like, how to do it in a car, especially. It's damn near impossible.
It's damn near impossible.
Not only do you have to logistically try to figure out the drive, the schedules have to line up.
Schedules got to be
You're
perfect.
like, all right, we're in the Midwest for 3 days. St. Louis cannot be on a 10-day road trip or something,
right,
or we're screwed.
These days, there's probably an app
Probably
that you could say plot it from here.
When you're driving, you got to think of like the continental United States. You can get the East Coast pretty easily. You can get the West Coast. You can go across the South, Texas, and Florida.
The problem,
Colorado is just by itself.
Yep.
And then the next closest, you got to drive from Colorado to Seattle.
Yeah,
was like 30 hours, and then from Seattle, 12 hours down to the Bay. It's a nightmare.
I think the problem with that is that you are working really, really hard to go to some really mediocre parks. And I'll throw in St. Louis. I've been to Old Bush. I've been to New Bush.
Which did you prefer? Did you like
Bush?
But if you had to pick Old Bush or New Bush,
I'll go with New Bush.
I think everybody probably prefers New Bush to Old Bush.
I would not say it's like something needs to be on your bucket list. I mean, can you imagine going out of your way to go to the Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati?
Mike Shildt is going to slit your throat. Play that back for him when he comes on.
Not that great. Petco Park is so far and away better than almost every other ballpark now. Why would you? Let's just go to Petco Park more than trying to see all the other ballparks.
I know. I don't even go to Petco Park enough. I've just realized, like,
now that's a problem. You should go to Petco Park more. It's right here.
I get it. I love being at home. I like watching the games. We're so spoiled with Mud and Don on TV and Jesse and Tony. It's like, yeah, man. I mean, I love going to Petco, but I love to sit at home and watch those games more than anything on the planet with my kids, being able to talk about the game in real time with my wife and kids. It is my greatest love.
Bro, Sunday night when I was getting ready for Monday's show and going over the 3 games from the weekend, I had to like do a full crash course on Saturday's game. I knew they won, but we were there. That was the night we were in the suite down the left field line. You can't see the strike zone from there. No. It's hard to follow. You got people talking, you're drinking, you're eating. It was a great night. It was so much
down
fun.
Banana pudding and lobster rolls.
But you can't watch the game, and soak it in and retain all the information. You're not like, oh, Toddy's coming up. He's 1 for 3. Like, you're like, what did he do last at bat? I don't remember.
Not much happened in that game. Toddy made 2 great catches.
Hayward hit a bomb.
And Toddy hit a bomb.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah. No, I and again, more power to all of you guys that are going to cross. It is an accomplishment. Like, it's a big accomplishment. But for me, I've got so many other things I want to see than
we were
Great American Ballpark.
We were specifically looking at doing it in one fell swoop, not over the course of 5 years, 10 years, or whatever. Like one summer, we're gone the whole time, living out of a car kind of a thing, trying to do it as best we could. Who do we know in what cities? There was no way with the scheduling, honestly. Once we started lining up schedules for the teams, you're like, they go on a 13-game road trip in August. We're screwed.
I'm not doing it. I'll tell you what, I'm not doing it at 50 plus. You know what I mean? Like at 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old Woods, maybe. But 50 like plus 22. Woods, pass. There's no way.
Drive and raw dog it the entire way across the country.
All right, what do you think about this? Ryan just makes a really good point. You guys didn't think about trying to hit PNC and Philly in the same trip at least. We didn't. How close are they?
I did.
It's completely opposite sides of the state of Pennsylvania.
I think it's like
you have to fly.
You have to fly?
Oh, it's like it would be like a 5 or 6 hour drive from Philadelphia to Pittsburgh. It's not that 5 hours. Now hitting Camden Yards in Philadelphia is absolutely possible. You can make
maybe we know somebody
you can make that drive to Baltimore if there was a game while we were there. That's something you could consider doing. That's a lot closer than driving to Pittsburgh.
We might know a Baltimore Orioles Hall of Famer that could get us.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah,
people were asking what happened to Adam Jones. He's busy.
We'll talk
to him at some point.
He's busy.
He works for the team now.
Paulie and I are actually thinking about trying to have him on next week when you're on yet another golf trip. Yeah. One of the first of many.
Unfortunately, the Orioles are still out of town. Away
They're out of town.
That week.
Well, I'm not driving in just to see the ballpark. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah.
All right. No, good. More power to you guys. All the tier ones that showed up down in Houston. The way that Padres fans travel now is insane. I mean, it's crazy. And we'll join those ranks in July. Excited about it.
Got an update on a topic from earlier this week. A couple of minutes here. What does Woods have in common with Khloe Kardashian? Not a lot.
Great ass. Great.
That's
ass.
So loves the NBA.
Love the NBA. Love it so much.
So Khloe was on her podcast. She actually had Dana White on, and she said she will never let her kids sleep over anymore.
Oh, based on the convo we had yesterday.
I've watched too much.
Khloe Kardashian at tier 1?
I've watched too much Dateline.
Huge tier 1.
And I can't do it. I cannot let my children sleep away from home after watching all the true crime and everything that goes on. And we were talking about that. Was that yesterday we were talking about
yesterday on the show.
And I saw that yesterday. And I thought, oh, wow. Khloe and Woods are cut from the same cloth.
Yeah.
2 peas in a pod.
That's
right.
You
can barely tell them apart.
That's true.
Honestly, between the two of them.
When were you listening to her podcast?
I wasn't, but I was looking for Don't Do This stories, and it happened to pop up on the TMZ sports feed.
What's the name of her podcast?
The name of her podcast is, what is her podcast's name? Khloe in Wonderland.
Khloe in Wonderland.
Yeah.
Okay.
And her kids, who are her kids? She's got Psalm and Rain,
okay,
REIGN, and Dream. Yeah,
it's a lot of kids.
True. Tatum.
They're still going. These are still.
I don't know if some are Kim's kids. Actually, Kim's kids are Psalm and Chicago.
I don't think anybody cares at all. This is like Lakers talk to me right now.
You want to talk some Lakers?
Absolutely not.
No. Starts tomorrow.
No,
playoffs. First round. Game 1.
Not even a little.
Against the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Not even a little bit.
Maggie and Perloff were debating whether
the Dallas Cowboys or the Lakers.
If LeBron wins another title, does it change his argument in the greatest of all time against Jordan? Even my eyes are rolling up in the back of my head. Well, I mean, if he gets to 5, I know it's still not Jordan 6. But I mean, does that sway some Jordan people into the LeBron camp? And I know even me, my eyes were kind of slowly rolling into the back. Are we really having this hypothetical conversation?
I wonder whose
now?
idea that was, Maggie's or Perloff's? That's what I wonder.
Maggie was diehard. Yeah, yes, it makes a difference. Like if he wins the title,
no,
but
Perloff you're doing it now. Now by talking about you're
Perloff
doing
was
it.
like, no chance. Anyone is swayed at all by even one more title by LeBron.
Good.
Are you done?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay. We need a contestant for Take on Woods.
Oh, yeah.
It's coming up in our next segment. If you'd like a chance to qualify for our getaway to Las Vegas, concert tickets while you're there, $150 gift card. It's not easy, but you can try to take down Woodsy in our 5-question musical trivia challenge. Call now. Get online for a contestant, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. We'll play our game coming up next, and then Mike Shildt coming up at the top of the hour at 9 o'clock with Ben Woods on a Friday on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Quickly, though, gang, let me tell you about Loan Pronto. If you're feeling a little bit underwater financially right now, but you do own a home, you can get cash out of your home's equity. You can refi out of a higher rate, or you can do a home improvement project. Loan Pronto can help you make that happen in just a matter of days. Take advantage of this opportunity now. You can get tens or even hundreds of thousands out of your home's equity. Pay off your credit cards, pay off your car loans. The average homeowner cutting their monthly bills by about $1,000 doing this. So more info can certainly be found at loanpronto.com. Inflation, higher costs, put a lot of people in stressful financial situations these days. But again, if you own that home, there is a way out. Loan Pronto has multiple options that can help you get the financial freedom you deserve. Most homeowners get their cash in less than 2 weeks. Most don't even need an appraisal. Do the smart thing. Stop paying insane rates on your credit cards. Wipe them out. Get a lower mortgage rate today. Get some money for that home improvement project. All starts by getting in contact with the experts at Loan Pronto. Go to loanpronto.com or call now, 619-207-4336. Or again, loanpronto.com for all the info that you may need. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Jamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
Star 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by Staples. Your local Staples has hot deals and super low prices throughout the store on everything for your business. And right now at Staples, save up to $250 off your print order. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details. Ends June 14th. Plus, save even more at the Easy Rewards program at Staples. Nothing easy about Take On Woods. But if you do succeed in beating or tying Woods, pretty good grand prize on the line, trip to Las Vegas, and more. I see John on the line, so let's get to it. Let's play a little Take On Woods. Take On Woods brought to you by Bay Alarm, security and fire alarms for every business. We got you. Am I correct? Is this John?
Hello?
Hello. Sounds like maybe it's not John.
Yeah,
Who is this?
John.
Oh, it is John. All right. And you're calling for Take On Woods?
I sure am.
Well, you've come to the
You
right
are
place because this is Take On Woods, and you are our contestant today with a chance to qualify for our grand prize drawing. Trip to Las Vegas, 2 nights at the MGM Grand, $150 gift card, plus your choice of concert tickets to either Disturbed, Ghost, or Pantera in Vegas. All 3 shows. Tickets available now at Ticketmaster.com. And to give you a little advantage, I'm going to let you pick our category today. Here are your choices. A Call to Arms. 5 song titles and artists that include the word arms. Duets, old and new-ish. It's a 2-second song category. All duets. We had a duet category earlier this week. And Smokestack, 5 song titles and artists with the word smoke somewhere in their name. So, John, A Call to Arms, duets, old and new-ish, and Smokestack.
Well, let's go with A Call to Arms.
A Call to Arms. All right, you got 5 questions. They're all song titles and artists that include the word arms, A-R-M-S, somewhere in the name. You'll go first. Woods will go second. We'll compare scores. Again, if you beat or tie him, we will put you into the grand prize drawing. First question is our 2-second song. Paulie, going to play a song with either arms in the title or in the artist. You need to give me the title and artist to score that point. Go on from there. If you don't know an answer, you can always pass. We'll come back to it if there's time left on the clock. John, are you ready to play?
Yes.
All right, let's put 60 seconds on the clock. John, your time begins when Paul plays the music. The category, A Call to Arms. Good luck. Let's Take On Woods.
I Just Died in Your Arms Tonight by... Don't remember.
Okay, Scott Stapp says it only took him 15 minutes to write which number 1 hit for Creed, including the opening line, well, I just heard the news today.
Arms Wide Open.
Correct. Nicknamed Satchmo, which trumpeter received a Lifetime Achievement Grammy 1 year after his death in 1971.
Yeah.
Journey never.
Louis Armstrong.
Correct. Journey never had a song reach number 1 on the Billboard charts. They came closest with which 1981 power ballad that spent 6 weeks at number 2?
You know this. Pass.
Which Dire Straits title track, popular at military funerals, is also the name of the band's most successful album?
Oh, Lord. Pass.
All right, back to the 2-second song. See if you can come up with the artist, too.
Quickly.
Died in Your Arms by Cutting Crew. But you did get 2. You
Cutting
got
Crew.
Yeah, you got Arms Wide Open and Louis Armstrong. Open Arms is Journey, and Brothers in Arms is Dire Straits. 2, I don't know if that's going to be enough. Hang on the line, John. Woods doesn't get the category. Same 5 questions. Feel like you might get this one. I don't know. We'll see. All right, 60 seconds on the clock. Woods, your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck. Let's take on John.
Cutting Crew. I just died in your arms.
Correct. Scott Stapp says it only took him 15 minutes to write which number 1 hit for Creed, including the opening line. Well, I just heard the news today.
I just heard. With Arms Wide Open.
Correct.
Yeah.
Nicknamed Satchmo, which trumpeter received a Lifetime Achievement Grammy 1 year after his death in 1971.
Dizzy Gillespie?
Incorrect.
Oh, wait.
Journey never had a song reach number 1 on the Billboard charts. They came closest with which 1981 power ballad that spent 6 weeks at number 2.
What is the category? This was really going to help me. Open Arms.
Correct. Which Dire Straits title track, popular at military funerals, is also the name of the band's most successful album?
Dire Straits song played at funerals?
Military funerals. Yep.
Brothers in Arms.
Correct. That's 4. And the category was
something with
a
arms.
Call to Arms. Which
it was Louis Armstrong.
Louis Armstrong. Yeah, but you did win 4-2. John, thank you for playing today. Woods, though, I believe a perfect 4-0 week this week.
Yeah, buddy.
Take on Woods. Solid. We did have a qualifier yesterday in Real or Fake, however. Well played, Woods. Good job. When we come back, so I saw this morning. We talked about Jesse Agler's great call of Manny's home run, but Jason Stark is actually taking it to the next level. You remember the home run earlier this week when they dropped the 2 foul pop-ups?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I got some more details on that one for you. We can get to that coming up next with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
First of all, this weekend, gang, if you are in the market for a new car or truck, highly recommend heading down to see my friend Manny Sedano at Sedano Ford in La Mesa. Got some incredible deals for you. Right now, you got a shot at employee pricing, too. That's really great. It's a kind of insider deal normally reserved for all the people that work there. Now wide open to you. And, of course, one of the hottest offers, I'm seeing this thing everywhere, the brand new 2025 Ford Maverick is just $219 a month. Tariff-free. That's a real value on a truck that works as hard as you do. It's compact, it's capable, loaded with style, perfect for your everyday drive or your weekend adventures. So check out SedanoFord.com for all the details, all the offers. Claim your spring deal before it's gone. Again, visit SedanoFord.com for complete details. As you guys know, man, I Manny Sedano, local veteran-owned dealership. They will take such good care of you. That guy knows what he's doing. And, look, their goal is to get you in the car or truck of your dreams. So it's not only the 2025 Ford Maverick you're getting a great deal on. Go check out everything that they have to offer. Again, you can stop by the beautiful dealership right there in La Mesa, or again, go over to SedanoFord.com. Get all the details you need. When you walk in, if you do stop by, let them know, hey, Woodsy from 97.3 The Fan sent me, said you're going to take good care of me, and they will. It's Sedano Ford, SedanoFord.com.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Jamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
Mike Shildt coming up in our next segment. Of course, Padres hit the road for 6, but then they will be home coming up for the next homestand. And on that homestand, that will include the giveaway of the Tony Gwynn, the young Tony Gwynn bobblehead. You want to open that up and take a look at what they have left us for today? Padres Tony Gwynn rookie bobblehead is presented by Petco on Tuesday, April 29th. First 40,000 fans in attendance will receive a Tony Gwynn rookie bobblehead. Celebrate Mr. Padre. Collect the item. Bobbleheads distributed first come, first serve. First pitch 6:40. For more information, you can go to padres.com/giveaway. So he's got 2 pieces. The bat goes in his hands.
That's cool.
That is pretty darn cool.
Yeah, gonna need this one.
I heard Tony Gwynn Jr. and Chris talking a little bit about it.
So cool.
1982 version of Tony Gwynn when he first came up to the big leagues. The only season in Tony Gwynn's 20-year career that he did not hit 300. He hit 289 in that year after he debuted. It's kind of half a season. He debuted in July, I think, and hit 289. And then the following 19 seasons, he hit over 300 every single time.
We would have been
career.
On the air going, this Gwynn guy, he's 289. That's solid. I mean, but, what can we really expect when a guy comes in and hits just 289? A lot of guys used to hit 300 back then. So Ben and I would have been in here complaining that he needs to pick up the pace.
Like anything special.
Yeah, he's fine. 280 is solid. It's going to be a solid big leaguer, hopefully for a long time. Can I take this or no? Is that
I think you'll have to talk to Adam before you take anything.
Well, Scravy
out of the studio.
Took the last one.
He took our tickets also,
and he sold our tickets this week.
We do have one in the last pair to give away coming up here as well. Paulie, when do you want to do that? We've got the tickets to the
that's awesome
concert, the Warren Haynes Band concert at Humphreys Concerts by the Bay. Probably should have done it earlier because we got Mike Shildt coming up in our next segment.
How about right effing now?
Oh,
how about that?
How about that? All right, call now. Fifth caller is going to win a pair of tickets. Our last pair of tickets to Warren Haynes Band at Humphreys Concerts by the Bay on May 14th. Plus, you'll be the last person entered to win the grand prize, which is that concert package, but the premium version with access to the pre-show sound check. Tickets and premium fan packages are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. So
I know this is Warren Haynes' time right now, but we also have a massive giveaway for next week that I was just informed about
just now
the other day. Yeah, we've got tickets all next week to go see Elton John at Petco Park.
Ooh, mama!
You've got tickets for that already.
I'm not going. My wife's going.
She is.
Yeah.
Ben's only there Monday, Tuesday next week, so you and I get to have some fun. That's a big prize.
Maybe at his expense.
Maybe
Ben's, not Elton's. We love Elton. We love you, but you know what I'm saying.
Right.
You don't care. You'll be playing golf. Right.
Benny.
Yeah. Maybe that could be the sounder.
That could be a good sounder for Elton John.
We
And
could
then
do
isn't
better.
it a benefit, like a concert or benefit concert tour that he's doing? Yeah.
For cancer research.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Which is a good cause as well.
Yeah, my wife's going with her girlfriends. Go see
Feel good about that. All right. Well, phones are ringing, so we'll let Paulie answer while we check traffic. And then Jesse Agler's moment in the sun from this week. We'll get to that coming up next year on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is brought to you by Eliminate Termite, the orange oil experts. Got a few things here. Crash the clearing stage, north 805 before Claremont Mesa Boulevard. It's over to the right shoulder. Stalled vehicle on the transition ramp, northbound 5 to the northbound 15. And tow truck is helping to clear a solo vehicle accident, north 125 before Hamishaw. Have termites? Eliminate Termite inspects, treats, and repairs termite damage, all with a full structural warranty. Their orange oil treatment is safe for people, pets, and the planet. No tent, no move out. Protect your home naturally. Schedule a free inspection at eliminatetermite.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
So you remember the moment on Tuesday night at Petco Park when Manny Machado was up and hit two foul pop-ups that were both dropped. Cal Tucker dropped the first one,
and then Workman dropped the
second one.
I thought Tucker's was more egregious. I really did.
Bit.
He had two hands on it. He still dropped
it. It was like, how did he drop that? He's a really good defender, too. So we played earlier in the week. Jesse had a terrific call of it, and like, oh, it's baseball. It's the wildest sport. It's predictable, but unpredictable. So Jason Stark in his weekly athletic column, his the wild and wacky from the world of baseball, got a hold of this as well. And he really fascinated by Jesse, because Jesse's unafraid. If you listen to Padres games here on 97.3 The Fan, he's unafraid to occasionally throw out a prediction or two. Remember last year, like, hey, a triple play here would be really nice.
Yes,
and it absolutely happened. And I remember what do you even think of that at that moment? I said, who even thinks that the triple play is possible? And Jesse actually said it on the air before Manny turned that triple play that beat the Dodgers and clinched the playoffs. So when we played the highlight, we didn't actually play the lead up to the highlight where Jesse said, and this was the quote that Jason Stark wrote in his column. So two drop foul pops. And Jesse says, if you've watched enough baseball in your life, you have a sense deep down in your gut about what's going to happen.
Wow.
And then the next pitch, this is what happened.
Now the pitch. Manny swings, hits it in the air, deep to left field. This one way back, gonna go! The most predictable yet unpredictable game in the world. The Cubs dropped two foul pops in this at-bat, and the baseball gods reward the Padres with Manny Machado's second home run of the season, and it's 1-0 here in the fifth.
So, Jason actually talked to Jesse for his Weird and Wild column, and Jesse said, I think it's fun to throw some stuff out there. Because Jason pointed out, when you try to predict something in baseball,
no chance,
you'll be
man.
wrong 99 times out of 100, if not more. It's a very hard game to predict. But Jesse, actually very good at it. So Jason wanted to say, well, how hard it is to predict a home run after two foul pops dropped. So he went to Stats Inc. to look at their 52-season history to see how many times that has happened. And of course, it had never happened in 52 years that two foul pop-ups had been dropped and then the player hit a home run. So as far as records go back, Manny did something that, as far as we know, has never been done in the history of baseball this week.
That's fantastic.
And Jesse kind of called it.
Got to call it. Yeah. That's amazing. You get those feelings every now and then. And I think it was AJ Caswell that told us about the game they play called Yard. And it's Yard.
Yeah.
And it's,
I played it a couple times.
Yeah. You put like $1 in or something.
You get like one shot on the next pitch.
Is it for money?
You say home run. Sometimes, there's a prize pool.
Yeah, there's a pool.
That's a
put
pot.
Like $1 in per game.
But you only get to pick one pitch.
I thought the money was the game where the umpire throws the ball back.
They do that one
innings, and if it lands on the mound,
if
the ball stays on the mound, you get the pot.
Because usually it rolls up the mound and then rolls back off onto the grass, and the pitcher picks it up. But if it stops on the dirt, like right on the top,
you get the pot.
Whoever's turn it is that half inning gets the pot. But Yard can be played for money as well, where a bunch of people in the press box, there's like a prize pool. Like, I don't know, whatever you put in to start and feed the pool. Everyone puts in $5 or whatever. And then every game you get one pitch where you get to say yard. And if the guy homers on that next pitch, you take the pot, and then everyone puts in the money. If not, either the pot grows or you just, wait until someone wins the next time. But you only get one pitch every game where you get to call yard.
I had Manny's first homer. I came in the next day and told you guys about it. I said to myself, it's like playing, I played golf by myself today. I shot even par. Everyone's like, yeah, sure you did, bud. Yeah, no, we totally believe you. We totally do. No witnesses, just out there by myself, just locked in. I'm sitting in my bed and I go, this is a bomb. Boom. And I was like, why didn't you tweet it? You absolute buffoon. Why? I would look like a genius.
Here, I went back and pulled Jesse's prediction and everything. All I did was just shorten up the little breaks where it was just crowd noise.
Right.
Boy, if you've watched enough baseball in your life, you have a sense deep down in your gut about what's going to happen here. But second straight night, we've seen Manny put together a big at-bat like this, do the 11-pitch walk in the 6th inning last night. Now about to see pitch 9 from Imanaga. 2-2 again. The lefty is set and ready. Now the pitch. Manny swings.
Boom.
Hits it in the air. Deep to left field. This one way back. Gonna go.
So good.
Pretty
You
good.
could hear the delight, though. In Jesse
Being right? Oh, my God.
Such
Calling
a
out
good
like that?
feeling. Ray in the chat is called yard for the first pitch for Fernando Tatis Jr. tonight. It's not a bad spot,
That's
actually.
not a bad call.
To call yard. I rarely do you do it on the first pitch of the game, but with Fernando up, it's not a horrible call. I mean, we saw it yesterday. I don't know if it was the
I
first
still
pitch.
think about that home run he hit there. Was it 2021?
Oh,
Where
my.
he hit it over the train.
Over the train.
One of the biggest home runs I've ever seen.
That was also a game. Didn't the Padres lose on a pop-up that was dropped?
Was that the same game that
same
Hosmer
series?
dropped
It
that
happened.
pop-up?
It might have been earlier but it definitely happened in Houston where they had the pop-up in the 9th inning and no one caught it. They lost the game that way. But
it was bad.
we had actually a game yesterday. I don't know if it was the first pitch, but it was the first batter of the game. O'Neal Cruz, Pittsburgh Pirates playing at the Washington Nationals. He homers to lead off the game. There was not another run the entire game. So if you got there late and you just missed the first batter of the game, you missed all the scoring in the entire game.
That's insane. Just 9 innings.
They
Essentially.
look back at Pirates history, and this is 125 years, and go, we can only find one other game where that happened, where the first batter hit a home run. There was no other scoring in the entire game, but that happened yesterday. So maybe Tatis does it tonight. Then Kyle, you got your run. Make it stand up the rest of the day. That's it.
Matt says the Toddy home run came after a drop in foul territory.
It did. That's right.
That's right. Speaking of,
right.
It's in that very same
Crazy.
vein. Making them pay is a good feeling. If they boot one and you get new life, and you make them pay, it's pretty.
I wonder
sick.
if Jesse was kind of thinking about it in the back of his head when Manny did it. Like, I feel like I've seen this script play out before with the San Diego Padres.
Yeah, April 7th, 2018 was the Haas walk-off.
So I thought it was earlier.
Oh,
I've got this was May 28th, 2021 in Houston.
Now Tatis. First pitch is hammered to left field. Forget about it. Up by the train tracks.
So gone.
And the game is tied in the 8th.
Oh, it was so gone. Woo, mama. I'd like to see one of those big yackers tonight. Get first licks tonight. Haven't played much on the road this year, Benny. First licks. Yeah, man. Get to this kid early, right? Get to this kid early and then just figure it out. Kyle Hart, like you said, he's going to have a whole slew of righties to navigate tonight for the Houston Astros, other than Yordan Alvarez. But yeah, is Pena, is he a lefty too, or is he switched?
He's a righty.
Is he a righty?
Yeah.
But yeah, he's going to have a whole slew of right-handers that he's going to have to get through, and induces some soft contact and do what he did last game. Man, we will be right in this ball game.
We talked with Jeff Blum early in the show. If you missed it, he gave us a little bit of the inside scoop on the Astros, including tonight's starting pitcher Ryan Gusto, who had the great story. He was supposed to make his first ever start on the last game of last season, and it got rained out.
That's unbelievable, dude.
Didn't ever get to do it. Did finally make his first start earlier this season when they had an injury in their starting rotation, and he's still in there. He said he's not going to line up the radar gun.
Was that his debut or just his first start?
I think it was just his first start.
Oh,
I think
he had pitched before.
I think he pitched in the bullpen. That would have been his first start.
Because that would be potentially the most excruciating sports story, other than like getting a huge injury or something. Yeah, buddy, you're starting today. It's your big league debut, and the rain starts, and you're still there, and you're hoping that it breaks, and you're staying loose, and you're getting amped up, and it's your debut, and you're already nervous, and then you got to wait, and then you got to wait, and then they bang the game. And then you got to go home.
So, tonight, 5:10, and then you got a couple, I believe 4 o'clock or 4:10 starts the next 2 days. Michael King against Hayden Wesneski tomorrow, and then Dylan Cease and Framber Valdez on Sunday Night Baseball, ESPN on Sunday night. And as Blum told us, Valdez is kind of like Cease, has kind of alternated good and bad starts, has been a little inconsistent. He's going to be a free agent at the end of the year, just like Dylan Cease is going to be. So they got some ready-made storylines for this series against the Houston Astros as the Padres hit the road. And then Padres in the minor leagues last night. Congratulations to Leodalis DeVries, who hit his very first high A home run. Really got a hold of one.
Missile.
Yanked it for Fort Worth. They had a good game last night. And we also saw Boston Bateman pitching for Lake Elsinore, looking really good. Padres' second pick of the draft last year had a really nice start. You have the numbers?
I don't. I can find it, but he had like a no-hitter through 4 or something.
He didn't allow any runs, struck out a bunch of guys, got a lot of swing and miss. Both him and Cash Mayfield, their first pick, have gotten off to good starts so far.
5 innings pitched, no earned runs, 7 Ks, 1 walk, 1 hit, 70 pitches. Looked great. Fastball had some juice, touched 98 miles an hour. All right, I'd say he's ready. Let's go. What are we waiting for? Holy smokes.
But both of those guys are high schoolers, though.
Yeah.
So,
it's going to be a while.
We've got a while to wait before we see them.
You're getting nervous. Shilt's coming up.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, I can tell.
Let's see. Elsewhere in baseball yesterday, speaking of home runs, Tyler Soderstrom still hot, hit his major league leading 9th of the season for the Athletics as they blanked the White Sox 8-0. Texas, the Rangers got a nice start from Kumar Rocker. 8 strikeouts, 3 earned runs in 7 innings. They swept the Angels with a 5-3 win. Mariners rallied. Randy Arozarena hit a game-tying 2-run home run in the 9th inning, and then followed that up with a 2-run double in the 10th as they beat the Cincinnati Reds 11-7. Orioles topped the Guardians 6-2. Mets beat the Cardinals 4-1, and the Tigers over the Royals 6-1.
That Angels stretch was fun for a week or so when they were playing really, really good. They've lost 4 straight.
They played well long enough. There were a couple of the think pieces like, could the Angels be the surprise team in baseball this year? It's not looking quite so good anymore.
It's hard because you got to write about something. You need content, and you're like, could this be? Because there's one team every year that just surprises you. And oh man, if Mike Trout stays healthy and Ron Washington's got them not looking at their cell phones, and man, these guys are on a roll, and you drop 4 straight. Look, it happens to most teams. So we're certainly not immune to it either.
Well, we're Angels fans this weekend because they're hosting the Giants for the next 3 games.
Let's get back on track, Angels.
Speaking of the Rangers, they've got the Dodgers coming in. So both the Padres and Dodgers are in Texas. Good pitching matchups for the entire series.
Yeah.
Tonight's Yamamoto against DeGrom. Tomorrow is Sasaki against Eovaldi. And then Sunday is Glasnow against Tyler Mahle.
Yeah.
Who's off to a really good start as well.
Really solid 3 games.
Yeah, they've got 3 good pitching matchups. Good test, I think, for the Rangers. Did we all pick the Rangers this year? Was that the we kind of agreed on, or did someone pick the Mariners? Did you pick the Mariners?
No. I think I did. I went with the Mariners.
You might have gone with the Mariners. And they're like 500.
Yeah,
Texas is looking like they're going to bounce back this year. Corey Seager homered yesterday.
Ben and I picked the Rangers. You have them in second. Woods. You pick the Mariners to win the division.
That's right.
But they're definitely looking like a good bounce back candidate. Bruce Bochy every other year. That's what they do. And they're off to a good start this season.
Like your World Series prediction of the Atlanta Braves, Woods.
At 5-13.
My Orioles one hadn't been looking good. They won the last couple, at least to get to like 8-10.
Yeah.
But they were off to a really bad start as well.
Yeah, they're
not quite as bad as the Braves, but
Braves are like second worst team in baseball right now. So yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about my baseball knowledge.
All right, when we come back, we will head
Shildt
out to Houston, Texas,
Hey, boy.
and talk to the manager of the San Diego Padres, Mike Shildt, ahead of the 3-game series against the Astros. Don't go away, Padres fans. That is coming up next on a Friar Friday with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. earlier, we kind of miss Padres baseball on a day off. I know they need days off.
Absolutely.
Probably more than they get over the course of a long season. But when the team's playing so well, it feels like a long time between Wednesday afternoon and Friday evening when the Padres resume play with the start of a 3-game series tonight against the Houston Astros. And it is time now for our Managers Report with Mike Shildt, refreshed by Eco Water SoCal. Try alkaline water for just $9.95 a month. Eco Water SoCal, keeping it soft since 1925. And it's good to have Mike on from Houston, Texas. How was the travel day, and how you doing this morning?
I'm doing just fine at the ballpark, getting ready for the series, and travel was easy and efficient.
So one of those things we talked about, Shildt, I was lamenting the fact that, last night I actually had to watch a movie and not be able to watch the Padres. And, we understand how important the days off. When you guys are playing like you're playing, is it tough for you guys and the fellas to enjoy the day off, or you want to get right back to the ballpark?
I think it's probably a combination. I mean, they're men, not machines, you know. So you guys have been working really hard, playing really well, giving everything they've got every day. I think everybody can appreciate, regardless of field, a day off occasionally. But we also, we like playing. We like being together, and we like competing together, and we enjoy our time together. So it's a combination.
Well, I'm just going to ask the question right off the bat because we talked about it earlier, and you have some of your mantras like getting better as the game, the series, the season goes on. Your team is playing so well right now, Mike. Like, what are some areas where you still would like to see some improvement? Because it's hard for us to see like how it could get much better.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's always, it could be collective, it could be individual, it could be situational. So, it's a game of a lot of moving pieces that we all know. And, we have taken advantage of our time together over the last year plus, including spring training and, continuity with, a staff and players that breeds consistency. So, there's, we always want to improve. It's a, growth mindset. It's competition. There's always an area for something to be better. But, as we continue to move this forward together, we do expect there to be some areas that, are really, really showing up that are buttoned up. And I think that's taking place.
Talking to Mike Shildt here on Ben and Woods this morning. And Ben had asked this question earlier in the week, and we addressed it a couple times, talked about it on the roundtable yesterday. And, the hot start is incredible. It's absolutely incredible. It's been such a joy to watch. And Ben said, so what did we all miss? All the people in the media or the national media, whatever, what did they miss about the San Diego Padres? And my thing was, I never really believed in momentum from season to season. And I hear you bring up continuity. And I think I missed that one, Shildt. I do. I think, to watch these guys just kind of pick up where they left off, and even with some new faces, that's been pretty incredible. And is that something that you've seen before? Like the way that you guys played especially the second half of last year and then into the first half of this year, the momentum really seems like the calendar turned one day and the offense is still, leading baseball and hitting and things like that. It's been amazing to see.
Yes, is the ultimate answer to your question. I mean, we don't take it for granted. It's not, it's a very, very, very competitive league. But the fact of the matter is that I already alluded to it. And I have experienced it for quite a long time, quite frankly, just in a different area, or a different team. When you have processes that are in place and nothing's foolproof, this game is really hard. No one has all the answers. I won't even pretend that anybody does, including ourselves. But when you do have a group of good players, let's don't pretend about that. We've got a good nucleus of players in every area, offensively, defensively, pitching, bullpen. But when you have that and you have a staff that gets to stay together and create some continuity, and there's clarity about how you're going to prepare and how you're going to compete, there is an expectation that it's only going to continue to get better and clearer in a very hard, complex game.
Talking to Mike Shildt, manager of the San Diego Padres. And Mike, I've heard you say before, Padres, best fan base in all of baseball. In fact, there's a TV promo where you actually say it. We hear it almost every night. Let's be honest. Most managers are going to have to say that about their teams. You don't hear it otherwise. But I was struck this homestand. I mean, with the big crowds, even on like a midweek Wednesday game, and I thought in particular there was one the wild pitch against the Cubs with the bases loaded, where the fans were chanting Gavin Sheets, and I felt like they actually had an impact on the game. Do you ever see that where your fans can actually impact the game with their energy and chanting and perhaps throw another team off their game?
Every game we played at home this season. Absolutely. You know, if you really, and again, you talked about, you know, what'd you miss seeing the game, and, you know, you see the game from a lot of different lenses and different experiences, and that's one of the wonderful things about the game. But for my lens to your question is absolutely, you know, it's and they can be subtle things that do show up actually in the box score, do show up in competition. Some are bigger, you know, the ball that was hit down the line that fell in. You know, there's 47,000 people helped be responsible for that. You know, Leaf, our third base coach, looked over like, man, they just couldn't. It took that one instance where they were thrown off of their focus, concentration, looking, and that's all it takes in this game. And so you mentioned wild pitches. I see pitchers. I see guys, you know, game speeding up on them. Guys dealing with a little bit more anxiety in a hostile environment that they're not used to, especially, you know, players that aren't as familiar with this league or that kind of environment, which is, you know, replicates, you know, what a playoff environment is. So absolutely, it's a competitive advantage, and we're very grateful for it.
I have a strategy question for you, Shildt. It's Mike Shildt on with Ben and Woods this morning. So I was watching the play the other day, and I've been always curious about this my whole life. I've never asked the contact play with the runner on third base. So I'm assuming that's something that you put on. I never. It's not bad. I'm legit curious. I'm legitimately curious about when to put it on, when not to put it on. I have always, because you'll watch a game and it's the fourth inning and you're like, oh my God, he's got thrown out by 15 feet. And they're like, well, the contact play was on. You're like, all right, that makes sense. Is it like, how standard is it for you as the skipper to be like, all right, contact plays on it? Or is it just totally player dependent and all of that? And, you know, when it tipped off the glove, I went, I don't know if he could have made it or not. But for you, like, how do you know when to put that on? I mean, I know that's your job, but when do you know to put that on?
How long do you have, man?
I got we got like
all,
20 minutes,
all hour if you'd like. We love hearing you talk about this.
It has always
he does. Yeah.
But it's always fascinated me.
All right, give us the abridged version.
The abridged, yeah.
Well, I mean, clearly you wanted him to go.
Okay.
You did. Okay.
I did not know. I was like,
sure.
Because it tipped, I wonder if he stopped because he thought the pitcher may snare it.
Perfect tip.
It was just
right
a perfect
at the defender.
tip. Yeah. So that's okay. Interesting. No.
I mean, I'll explain in that particular situation. You've got Diaz up. We're down a run. It's the 10th inning.
Yep.
Iglesias is a good runner. Diaz is not. We can't run for him because he's hitting for Maldonado.
Yep.
So we can't run for the catcher. He's not a stolen base threat. I don't think.
No.
They did go first to third the other day. Looked pretty good.
That first to third was
done a really good job.
That was
twice.
Inspiring.
He's done it twice. So we got Toddy up, and they're probably not going to pitch to him. Okay.
Yeah.
So if he gets thrown at the plate, we've got a guy at first base that we can't run for. That's not going to steal a bag. And they're not going to pitch to Toddy anyway. So we're going to have first and second. We can't steal first and second base with Diaz at second and Toddy at first.
Right.
And then so that brings Louis up to tie the game. So, if they're going to pitch to Toddy, which they didn't, we could take a shot because he can hit an extra base hit, but an extra base hit's going to be really hard for Diaz to score.
Yeah.
So why don't we just keep him at third?
Yeah.
And we create a lot of more opportunities if they do pitch to Toddy on a guy that can really run and does get infield hits, a guy that in a high leverage situation that is in the dirt a little bit, can score on a pass ball. So that's the highlights of but it's absolutely case by case, and we can have a 5-minute discussion about every single scenario. So
that was fantastic.
That was amazing.
That was great. I mean, yeah, and if Arise singles with Diaz on second, they're going to be playing a little more shallow to make sure they cut off that run.
Right.
And man, he thinks about so many things.
Well, and that's the thing, is that I don't think the common man like myself sits there and thinks about all those things that you have to weigh in order to just put a contact play on, right? And just to know, all right, this is probably a great time to do that. And
and the last part of the equation is it is first and third with Toddy, because they're going to walk him.
Yeah.
And, when we went after the first pitch, which is his prerogative, and we trust him completely. But they're probably not throwing through the Glaciers to tie and run. Toddy steals the base. Rise gets a base hit. We win the game because we don't go in contact.
Yeah. That's interesting. It's so fascinating to me. Thank you for explaining that, because now I can. Well, in Little League, you just send them because nobody's making a throw, so it's really easy for Little Leaguers. It's like, no, they hit it and you go, buddy. Contact play always on in Little League, Shildt. Sound managerial advice. Yeah, I think so.
A little bit about this. Yeah, just
listen, any managerial decision, I will support.
I love it.
Because you are going to know more than I'm going to know in that moment.
That's fair.
Yeah, so, I think it's great.
I mean, I love that stuff.
I'll always have the manager's back.
Thank you.
This series against the Houston Astros, obviously interleague play, like 3 straight series, and I know you got advanced scouts and everything, but a little more, less familiar with the competition and stuff. What are you kind of looking at with the Astros? And they're kind of off to an up and down start this year, but just kind of what you're expecting this series.
Expected more of the same. We're not as familiar with Houston, but we do have really, really good advanced scouting. The guys do a great job with that. We have one of the few clubs that have really good baseball guys that go out and watch teams and use their eyes, and they also use the information that's available now that's also beneficial, and we use the information as well in tendencies and different things along those lines. But we do our part being, our preparation work, our staff really, really dedicated to the prep work, a ton of video and research. And then, day will be spent with a lot of meetings to collaborate it all and make sure we're bringing simple and actionable things to our players. And then we'll go play baseball and at least to compete and shake hands.
Well, it sure has been fun to watch so far, Shildt. Obviously, best wishes for a great road trip. Just a quick, you'll get asked this and at the scrum later, I'm sure. But for our audience, how's Jackson Merrill doing? I was texting with a buddy yesterday. He goes, I pictured Jackson on the plane.
I don't think he went though.
Oh, did he not
I think
go?
He stayed home, right?
Did he stay home? He said, I pictured Jackson on the plane just wearing eye black, just ready to go for the game. And I know it's probably killing him not to be out there. And the guys have done a great job filling in for him, certainly. But I know he's itching to get back out there. How's he feeling?
You know what? He's improving. So, I mean, hamstrings, any soft tissue stuff can be, very finicky.
Yeah.
So we got to be very careful. But and to your point, he's definitely, got his eye black on, ready to go, and hungry to go compete. But right now he's got his focus channeled in areas he can do something about, and that's his rehab. And that so he's getting to a point where he's doing some light jogging and start to get some strength back and do some things in the weight room. And we're also put together a plan for him and Lockridge and Crony. That whatever guys can do from a baseball standpoint, whether it's bunting, tracking, throwing, whatever they're able to do, they're doing in appropriate fashion. So when they get back, they're both mentally and physically ready to compete.
We had to look up what dribbling meant in a rehab sense earlier this week, just to figure it out.
I'd never heard that before.
Shildt, really appreciate it.
That was awesome.
I just want to say, so while we do our show, we're on YouTube as well, and we have hundreds of comments from our audience. They love that explanation about the contact
so
play.
Much.
They are just so fascinated by how that works, and they just wanted to really appreciate you and the thought that you put into everything to make this team a winning ball club. So thanks from us and thanks from our listeners as always, and we'll chat with you again in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, love talking baseball. So enjoy it, you guys. Appreciate you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Manager's Report with Mike Shildt, refreshed by Eco Water SoCal. Try alkaline water for just $9.95 a month. Eco Water SoCal, keeping it soft since 1925. And what's so impressive is not I mean, not the thought process. As he explained it, I got it. I understood the baseball enough that it made perfect sense. You have to do that when you're a manager, though. You're going to make that decision about 5 seconds. Like that. And have all those variables in your head. Okay, we can't pinch run for Diaz. So if we put the contact play on and he's out, he's stuck out there and he's clogging up the base paths.
It's mind-numbing
with Toddy
about.
behind him.
It's
so
mind-numbing.
I mean, all the things that go into that are really fascinating.
I could listen to that all day long, and I have always wanted to know about that, because you see it, like I said, like I mentioned to him, the fourth inning, ground ball to third, and they throw the guy out by 15 feet. You're like, what are you doing? Just hold and maybe, extend the inning. But no, contact play was on. We were going to go on contact no matter what. How do you know when to pull it off? You got to look and survey the defense and who's out there. Does he have a good arm? Does he have a bad arm? What's his percentage of accurate throws to home plate? Like, all that needs to be calculated in an instant, man. And I could listen to it all day long.
I did agree. He said the one thing that I thought at the time when Arise was up and Tatis it was first and third. I go, you got to send Tatis on the first pitch, because they'll probably, and Shildt agree, probably aren't going to throw it down,
right,
and risk throwing it away or, the run scoring. So you'll then have a chance to single and win the game with Tatis scoring from second. Now, if Arise thinks he's got a pitch to hit, as he said, he's got the prerogative to hit it, but had he taken the pitch there, he might have had a chance to drive in 2 and win the game for the Padres.
And we talked about it the next morning, and you I think you said, I think when he tipped it is when he froze, and he didn't, because he got thrown out.
No, he just froze. He just stayed at third. Yeah.
But he's like, no, I mean, you want him to go there. You want him to go on contact.
Kind of, but he also explained why you don't want him to go.
Right.
So
I don't know. Very odd. But what did he mutter under his breath? I knew you were going to bring it. Something like that.
Yeah. Really funny.
I love it.
But I think he thought that we were going to bring it up in a bad way. Oh, you blew that one, Shildt, which is not the case at all. And especially after you hear him explain it.
So good.
I don't think there's a fan out there who could question the rationale and the thought process behind the decisions that he makes.
So great.
And I think you can trust the one thing about Mike Shildt, that there are no haphazard decisions being made about the San Diego Padres. You may not understand every single one of them, but they are not, some willy-nilly organization that throws stuff up on a wall and sees if it's going to stick. There's a plan. You may not know the plan. You may not understand the plan, but it definitely exists for the San Diego Padres. Good stuff again and again. Mike Shildt with us each week on the Manager's Report, refreshed by Eco Water SoCal. All right, we can react to that more coming up. Still have a Rindle Report ahead as well. We'll check traffic and then continue with more Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. First, though, I'm going to tell you again about us, SDFatLoss.com. It is a doctor-developed, easy-to-follow weight loss program helping you lose weight fast, naturally, and safely with no drugs or injections and no prepackaged meals, bars, shakes, or exercising required. Almost sounds too good to be true. I'm not going to tell you that. You have to follow the plan. You're going to be eating less than you normally do, but you also get to eat normal foods, which was huge for me. I ate a lot of chicken and steak and broccoli and Brussels sprouts during my weight loss, things that I kind of liked anyway. So it wasn't a huge ask. And then I kind of got with it and into the program, and you see that scale changing every single day up to a pound less. It really helps you stick with it, and your counselor is going to help you stick with it as well. You can find out how the program can work for you by setting up a free consultation by going to SDFatLoss.com. Take advantage of the spring special now. You can lose up to $200 in cost, but you can lose up to 10 to 20% of your body weight in just 60 days. I lost 40 pounds in 60 days in the summer of 2023. I've kept all that weight off this entire time. Please just think it over. Go to the website. You got nothing to lose there. SDFatLoss.com. That's SDFatLoss.com. Results may vary.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Jamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
Stuff from the manager, Mike Shildt, already at the ballpark, getting ready for today's game. What are we still, 5, 6, 7,
11:30 there? Yeah.
Over 7.5 hours away from the game. So
That's
it
where I
puts
would
it a
be.
long day.
I would be there.
Especially on the road.
Plus then the game, plus then probably an hour to two after the game.
Oh, man, that's where
Long day.
That's where I would be. 100%. Sitting in a hotel room.
In Houston.
Yeah,
that's
Houston.
true.
Yeah.
Might as well just get to the ballpark.
Just get to the ballpark, get settled.
It's a fun job.
Yeah.
Stressful, but fun.
Yeah, it's stressful and fun. It's like this one.
I loved when he talked about I hadn't remembered the drop pop up. It fell between the third baseman and the left fielder, and Mike credited fans for that as well. He says it just takes an instant. Like you're making noise and they can't communicate. They get distracted for just a second.
It's crazy, man, because these aren't college kids. Some of them were college kids recently, and you saw some real anxiety from some of the Cubs bullpen that has not been really great this year at all. You saw it, man, yanking pitches. You saw it in their face. You really saw it too. And I mentioned this to you guys off the air. Craig Counsell, I don't know that I've seen a jumpier manager. I mean, maybe in my days, but like Jace Tingler seemed more cool and calm at the helm than $8 million a year Craig Counsell. He just now that kind of thing, your bullpen comes in and just starts walking guys. It will do it to anybody. It will break the calmest guy.
When your lefty is walking the lefty guys at the end of the order, that you're supposed to get those guys out.
Yep.
And now all right, this is just turning into a disaster of an inning. You can't walk Jason Hayward if you're a lefty. You just can't. You can't. It was good at bat by Jason for sure. But yeah, I can see why Craig Counsell was wanting to tear his hair out in that inning with little on the mound.
He doesn't project a sense of calm at all. Like not even a little bit. And I don't know, man. Like, do teams feed off of their manager? I think they do. You can't be throwing water bottles and Gatorade bottles after every walk. Not that he was, but he looked visibly uncomfortable. It's just something I noticed in the 3 games. And again, a very unsteady bullpen is the number one cause of that. Like it's got to be the hardest thing. Managing that bullpen, I've said it a million times in sports, it's got to be the hardest thing to do.
I think it's also the opponent. It's the Padres. That's a good team with a good lineup.
Yeah.
That if you make any mistakes,
They're gonna
make you pay. It's not, you had a 3-1 lead over the Rockies and they tied it up, and you're like, all right, new game, but we got this.
Yeah.
Like you gave them an inch, the Padres will take it a mile, and you're like, dude, we just lost this game. We just lost this game.
They gave them so many inches, man. The Cubs did. They really kicked it around a lot. Sloppy defense.
We have been on the other side of that.
Oh yeah,
many times.
So many times.
Now, of course, the Padres hitting the road where they don't have that great crowd advantage.
Yeah.
12-1 at home, 3-3 on the road, which is nothing wrong with that. But I do get the sense that, part of the Padres and Mike Shilt's culture is, and when we go on the road, we're not going to be the team that gets rattled. No, there's very few environments that are rattle-inducing like Petco Park, and have no idea what the crowds are going to be like in Houston this weekend. But you also feel like the Padres take pride in, we're not going to be bothered by wherever we go. We've seen it. We know what our ballpark's like, and, it's nothing like yours is going to be.
Right.
So, we're going to just play our game when we go on the road.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it. Excited to see how they do. It's always a good judge of what your team is how they play away from home. And for us, for a while, there was that stretch last year. It was like, man, what's wrong with us at Petco Park? Why don't you guys like us? Why aren't we winning more at home? And they ended up riding that ship, but hopefully it continues. And like we talked about on the roundtable yesterday, man, a road trip, 6-game road trip, you are pretty confident at coming back 3-3. You'd be happy with that, but anything more is fantastic.
Yeah, 3-3 is where
that's your baseline.
That's your baseline, and then anything else is a little bit of gravy. As we talked with Blummer earlier, Padres dodging both Hunter Brown and Tarek Skubal on this trip with the Astros and Tigers, and they're still facing some good pitchers. I think they'll hit Flaherty.
Well, we hit Jackson Jobe.
I think they hit Jackson Jobe, so they're still hitting some good pitchers. Tigers have good pitching staff.
They do.
They have a tough staff. Just because you're missing Skubal doesn't mean it's some walk in the park, but it is a break probably to not have to face those two guys.
No doubt.
In these 6 games, so take advantage. At least 3-3, and then anything else is a bonus.
5:10 start.
5:10 today, and I believe 4:10 tomorrow and Sunday on ESPN Sunday Night Baseball.
Excellent.
All right, we will take our last time out. Paulie's going to have some headlines, stuff that we missed in our Rindle Report before we turn things over to Braden at 10 o'clock. All coming up on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Last thing of the week, though, that we need to tell you about is Trust and Will. It's a good way to end our week in terms of stuff you should just get done before the weekend. Peace of mind is huge. And whatever your age is, you don't know what the future may hold. So you might as well.
No, you do.
Well,
you do know
eventually you know what
it's coming at some point.
You know what
you
the immediate
absolutely
future is.
know
That's true.
that is coming someday.
And so why not just take care of a trust or a will by going online to trustandwill.com, answering some simple questions, and then you'll have real, legal, binding documents that you can store away that your family will have in the inevitable event of that day, however far in the future it may be.
Well, listen, it's honestly something you could knock out on your lunch hour. That's how easy it is. It takes about 20, 30 minutes. Avoid probate, though, and get a trust. There's no reason not to just get it done in 20 minutes online. All the directions you need right there, super affordable. So when you go to trustandwill.com, make sure you enter the code FAN, F-A-N. You'll get 20% off and free shipping of your estate documents. So no reason not to go to trustandwill.com today. Get it done. Make sure you use the code FAN when you check out.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Jamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
Friday. If you enjoy our particular brand of content here on 97.3 The Fan, then I invite you to tune in to the Gwyn and Chris program this afternoon in their, I believe, first hour around 2:45. They will be joined by Padres relief pitcher Jason Adam from Houston, off to a good start this season. What?
I'm doing the math.
They oftentimes, I think, record those interviews.
Yeah, we're about to take the
before their
field,
show.
guys. What do you want to know about my slider?
It's still 2+ hours before game time. It could be live, but sometimes they also record them when they come in
that's
before
right.
the show.
That's right. That's right.
One way or
It
the
probably
other.
is live. Probably is live.
It could be either way on this.
I was
one.
doing the 5:10 here, but no, it's 7:10 in Houston.
Yeah,
I get it.
Yeah, there's still.
I'm not real
some-
proud. I'm
still
kind
some
of tired.
time.
It's been a long week.
Time differences, confusing.
Got it.
You
It'd be
you
fun to do an interview.
You got a long day. You get Seals game still tonight.
I'm dead. It would be fun to do a live game, like an interview with a guy in the bullpen in the middle of the game.
I talked a little bit with Wes Berg yesterday of the Seals
love
about
Bergie.
time differences. So they've come off 3 straight road losses. Halifax, which is
7,000
4 time zones away, not
4.
3. Like the East Coast is 3 time zones from here. It's a whole nother time zone even further away from San Diego. And then he said, Rochester and Albany, which aren't
Yes.
exactly direct flights from anywhere to get to those games. For a San Diego team, that's got to be one of the toughest road stretches any San Diego
So
team has
bad.
ever faced.
And to lose all 3 is just brutal. But winning, we're in tonight, man. Excited for the game. 7:30, I believe, is when we are kicking off tonight. And it's a big one. Big one.
Good luck.
Thank you, man.
If they lose, you're totally done.
I'm done.
If they win,
we got to wait and see.
then you got to play a road playoff game. If
Yep.
they win that one, then you'll get at least one more home playoff game later.
Yeah, this could be it tonight. I hope it's not, but we will see.
All right, we will check traffic one last time, and then Paulie's got some headlines in the Rindle Report coming up next here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
The roads are wrapping up on a pretty good note here, except we have reports of some toys in middle lanes, eastbound King Freeway, just before Euclid. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
And get things started here with our today's edition of the Rindle Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Rindle Report with Paul Rindle.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Rindle Report
Hey, Paul, how you doing? Okay, how are you?
on 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a oh yeah?
All right.
All right.
All right, take it
Happy
away.
Friday, gentlemen.
Happy
We're almost
Friday.
there.
Yes.
Almost there. All right, we will start off in Major League Baseball. A little transaction news here in the National League West. Yesterday after the show, maybe even right after the roundtable, because I know his name did come up, the Dodgers optioned Bobby Miller yesterday. Did not have a good start on Wednesday night. Yeah. He took a beating, going 3 innings, 8 hits, 6 earned, 1 walk, struck out 7. But he got hit around pretty good by the Rockies, and he has been optioned down.
Now, to be fair, he could have thrown 7 shutout innings, and they might have optioned him
True.
anyway, because that is that is sometimes the lot of like a sixth starter or a long man in the bullpen. There's actually a really, really good piece by Jeff Sanders in the UT mostly about Logan Gillespie, who has lived this life for about 3 or 4 years now because he's a guy with options, long man in the bullpen.
Southwest Terminal.
Yeah, just the times where he gets sent back to AAA, like gets on a flight. For the Padres, of course, it's El Paso. For the Dodgers, it's Oklahoma City. But you get on a flight somewhere, and before you even land, you're like, the first text you look at is, hey, we need you back. Someone got hurt, so you're on the next flight back to San Diego. So just stay at the airport and run over to this gate because you're coming right back to San Diego. That happens to these guys because that's the life of the extra reliever who has options in the minor leagues. And whether you play well or not, it sometimes doesn't matter, and kind of drives you crazy when you're a young player. You come up and you throw like 3 shutout innings and 3 appearances, and they go, all right, you're still going back to AAA. And it's like, you always think, well, what did I do wrong? Why don't they like me? It's not that. It's the rules of the roster and how it works. And if you're not available the next day, they need someone else who is in case the starter only goes an inning. So like Omar Cruz was on the short end of that stick, pitched really well in relief, and they needed someone else. So they brought Logan Gillespie up, and they needed him right away. That was the day he came up when Kyle Hart did not get out of the first inning. And if they hadn't called up Logan Gillespie that day, they don't win that game.
Correct.
And they probably burn other guys in the bullpen, and they might not win games after that as well, because then they can't use those guys the next day and the next day, and it has a domino effect going forward.
I think with Bobby Miller, though, I think
he's struggling.
Well, his first 23 starts in the big leagues, man, he pitched to a 3.59 ERA, and his last 13 starts, his ERA is over 10. So there, I don't know what it is. You watch him pitch, and didn't have a lot of command of his secondary stuff, but still has a fast fastball, but it's pretty straight. Those guys were teeing off on it, but again, like Paulie said, managed to get 7 strikeouts. And again, it's the Rockies, but it's also the Rockies that clubbed you around for 7 runs or 6 earned runs. Man, that's one of those guys that, again, they're so deep. He could literally go away forever. They could trade him and to someone and they'll be fine. But it's been a bad last 13 for Bobby Miller.
By the way, Jason Adam was one of those guys for a few years before now establishing himself. And one of the other guys that Jeff Sanders wrote about in that piece of relievers who get the on the shuttle back and forth from AAA.
Still a decent life, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like you could wear that for a while.
Yeah.
I was fascinated by this next story that I read yesterday on awful announcing. So there are still, and I think it's going to be this way for a long time, the ripple effects of the Luka Doncic trade from Dallas to the Lakers.
It's going to be like a decade at least until they figure this thing out.
Like no trade has gotten this much scrutiny, maybe in sports history. That's how crazy and how big of a deal this was. So this week, Nico Harrison, the GM for the Mavericks that made that trade and sent Luka off to the Lakers, he met with select media members in a closed-door meeting to try to put to bed all of the crap that he's been getting as the GM that thought, let's get rid of this generational superstar and mortgage our entire future. And he wanted to just kind of have a back and forth with the local reporters there. At first, he said no recording. And so fans were like, well, what the hell? We want to know what's asked and what the answers are.
Yeah, why do it?
And eventually they did allow some recording to happen. And like I saw the transcripts of what was asked. ESPN NBA reporter Tim McMahon, he went off on Nico Harrison.
Full Bernie Wilson on him.
Off on him. All centered around the trade. He said from 2027 to 2030, you're out on your first round capital. Your own words, you created a 3 to 4 year time frame. When the credit card bill comes due, that time frame is over. How is that in the best interest of your team long term? And again, you don't have any of the first round draft picks. How is it in the long term best interest when he, at the time, a 25-year-old generational talent who could have a 10 to 12 year runway, he's one of the best players that we've ever seen. And Harrison would cut him off and said, well, defense wins championships.
Oh, boy.
Defense wins championships. And McMahon,
you know that you can get Ben, did you know this? You can get some good defensive players whilst keeping a Luka Doncic. What if I told you you could add defensive pieces around a guy like Luka.
I mean, it seems clear Nico Harrison may be the most defensive general manager in the history of the NBA based on his comments. So
they went back and forth.
Defensive guy.
McMahon kept hitting him. He then went on the local sports talk station down in Dallas, here in Dallas. And he just ripped Nico Harrison. He goes, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. He was so defensive. He was shutting down all of our questions. And it just had me thinking, I'm like, I wonder how often that does happen that we don't even know about. Big polarizing moves or decisions made in sports. And the GM sitting down in a closed door meeting with the media. Now, I believe his bosses told him,
the owner,
you don't have a choice.
Yeah, Patrick Dumont,
right?
who's the owner, one of the owners, said you have to do this.
And I thought, how uncomfortable is that for Nico Harrison? He's got to walk into this office.
It really takes.
And he's going to just get grilled.
It really takes a lot of the power away from Nico. Like, to empower your general manager to make this trade, obviously the owner is going to sign off on it or whatever. But when you say now you have to go answer questions to the media, instead of saying this is the right basketball decision for the Dallas Mavericks, you got to toe that line for years.
Now remember, and I'm not defending Nico Harrison here, but I think we all know what Nico is gambling on here. And he can't really say it, but he feels like Luka Doncic is going to not work hard enough,
flame out,
won't be worth what he was going to have to pay him, and is going to flame out in maybe 5 years, maybe 3 years, who knows? Luka will eventually determine what this trade looks like.
Correct.
But until then, Nico is going to wear it. And he's probably going to lose his job long before we ever find out if maybe he was right at some point.
Yeah.
Maybe he will, in hindsight, in 10 years, you look back and go,
genius.
The Mavs dodged a bullet. They didn't sign him to a super max deal that would have tied up their contract with a guy who just wasn't really willing to commit himself.
Right.
I tend to think that he will. I think Luka Doncic has got a fire going now that wants to prove the Mavs wrong forever and ever. But we'll see. We'll see.
Oh yeah, no, he had a line like that back to Tim McMahon yesterday. Nico said, "Like I said, we believe in the move we made. You obviously don't, and that's fine. You're entitled to your opinions, but we're excited about the future of our team. Again, I think the future will hold. I think once we win, that will change your mind."
He won.
They're not out yet.
You almost won.
Year.
He took you to
the final.
They won their play-in game, and they have that second play-in game now tonight.
That exact thing that you just said, McMahon's quoted as saying, "And you didn't believe that the team that went to the finals last year with Luka as the centerpiece could continue to contend?"
Oh my gosh, man.
He just got blasted.
It's just making him go and do that is
pretty brutal.
Now, I don't think they'll win on the road at the Grizzlies tonight, but if they did, it would be an interesting story.
It would be if they go on some run.
The Mavs stay in the playoffs and pull off an upset or two. All of a sudden, there's going to be. I mean, Anthony Davis played really well 2 nights ago in that first game. It looked really good. 27 points, 9 rebounds, 3 blocks. I mean, crazier things have happened in sports.
I mean, it's great theater.
What a turnaround that would be.
It's great theater.
So,
and finally. The story is old as time. Former childhood star gets into a little bit of trouble.
Yes.
Haley Joel Osment had a rough week at a ski resort here in California. He was arrested. Where was this? Mammoth. He was arrested at Mammoth Mountain for public intoxication. There was a video obtained by TMZ. He's trying to board a ski lift on the slopes.
Not uncommon, Paulie, when you go skiing.
You go to Mammoth to have a good time.
Right.
They said he had his helmet on backwards. Again, not uncommon if you've had a few pops, maybe. But
I don't even know which way is forward or backwards.
I just wore a helmet for the first time ever because we didn't do helmets in the 80s.
Is it like kids with bicycles now? Does everyone have to wear helmets?
Yeah. Well, you don't have to, but I actually tried to ski one day without it. My mother-in-law smacked me and said, "No, you have children, you idiot, and you're not that."
Is that a good example?
Yeah, exactly.
The biggest tell might have been not the backwards helmet or the smelling of alcohol on his breath. It was the fact that he didn't have a ski or a snowboard with him.
No skis.
He was just trying to get
frown on that. Yeah,
just go on a ride.
I mean, I don't want to ski. I wouldn't mind going up a ski lift and then just coming back down.
Just going one big loop.
A big loop. That might be fun.
Yeah, employees were like blocking him. Like, you can't get on this chairlift for a lot of reasons right now. And he started arguing with them. He started arguing with the skiers that were waiting in line to get on the chairlift. So he was arrested.
He had possession of cocaine as well on his person. He was wearing his World Series champion LA Dodgers shirt while he was skiing. And he is he's a big Dodger fan. So It's about par for the course.
Got to be tough to be one of those
Dodger fans.
Dodger fan. I know.
I was going to say child actors who are like famous for one line.
He's done other stuff.
He did.
Yeah.
As a child. What has he done as a grown up?
It was Tyler says it was a combo World Series New York LA shirt, but I went to his Twitter because I'm petty, and he is.
Just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, I just had to double check.
I mean, Hollywood.
Yeah,
LA.
Dodger, big Dodger.
What was the Pay It Forward? Wasn't horrible.
Was that
Kevin Spacey?
Kevin Spacey and you love Kevin Spacey. I forgot.
I don't love him.
You always talk.
I know he's problematic. He's not a bad actor. Seven.
It's brilliant.
Really good movie.
Was he in Pay It Forward?
Yeah, he was
Haley
kid,
Joel.
Right?
Yeah, was he?
That was him.
Was that Helen Hunt?
Yeah.
Was she in that as well?
Yeah.
All right.
But
yeah,
I see dead people. I mean, he's going to be linked with that for the rest of his life.
The child acting thing that's a tough one. Like if somebody approached my kids, like, "Hey, would you like to be in a movie?" I don't think so. I don't think so.
It ain't for us, buddy.
It's
I'm
not
always
for us.
impressed when the child actors turn out.
I know.
Well,
I know.
Like
Oh,
continue either acting career or they get out of acting and they do something.
Yeah,
else.
do something else.
Jason Bateman seems pretty cool.
Yeah, seems pretty grounded.
Yeah. Sean Astin.
Yep, pretty
Feels like
grounded.
he's done pretty well for himself.
Very much so. Yeah, for everyone, and this, I think. Look, the guy was partying at a ski resort. Okay, this is
where
not
you're supposed to party.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. A little snow with the snow. Anyway, hope he gets the help he needs.
If he actually,
if he needs it. Yeah. But he was, I guess, he was hurling some slurs at the cops and stuff. So it was
not good.
It was a little out of pocket.
Rough week.
Yeah, rough week. Happens.
I'm still stunned that it was not Macaulay Culkin, but his younger brother who turned into the bigger star.
And far superior
Kieran?
actor.
Kieran
Kieran
Culkin.
He's incredible. Incredible. What's the plans for the weekend?
Let's see. We've got some golf tomorrow. Easter Sunday, going to the mother-in-law's house for Easter Sunday brunch.
Can't wait for a Sunday brunch.
Yeah.
That's it.
I mean, I'm not an overly religious. You grew up in more of a religious household than I did.
Yes.
Which my mother probably doesn't want me to say, admit that, but we weren't. I mean, she likes going to church sometimes, but
Right.
I was never a regular attendee growing up.
I was. So how'd that work out?
So we had the more secular Easters with the, bunnies and
Yeah,
eggs,
we have
but
got little kids. We can do that.
less of the whole, resurrection stuff. It's just
All right.
maybe we didn't need to get into this. at
Probably
the
not.
end of the week.
I just
That's
wanted to
fine.
know what your weekend plans were, not your thoughts on Christ's return. All right. Next time I ask you what's going on this weekend, you don't have to tell us everybody about your religious beliefs.
Woods, peace be with you, and Ben
And
extra.
I
peace
also with you,
buddy.
I guess, Ben.
Yikes.
Just wanted to know what you had going on this weekend. That's it.
You got any political rants in the last 30 seconds too?
I'll just quit while I'm behind. That's it for us. Have a great Easter weekend,
How
everybody.
do you think the tariffs are working
I-
so far, Ben?
For Paul Rindle and Stephen Woods, have a good game tonight.
Thank
I'm
you.
Ben Higgins. Enjoy your weekend, everybody. From 97.3 The Fan. Braden's up next.